It's Chris Avalon Unfiltered, bitch.
Hey y'all, welcome and happy Tuesday. It's your boy Chris Avalon and welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Excuse me. Ooh, I done muted myself. Anyway, let's start that over. What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Chris Avalon. Welcome to a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered, a show where we basically talk about all things going on in celebrity news, pop culture, hot topics, all that good stuff. So that's the show for you. Definitely stick around because we got a lot of tea to spill today, including we have the actual official series finale runtime for Stranger Things, and also fans are calling out continuity issues in this recent couple of episodes that we just saw. So we'll talk about that. We gotta talk about the Diddy documentary and some of the stuff that's coming out, including Aubrey O'Day saying that she had no idea she was SA'd until someone told her that that's what the diddler did to her. So we'll get into that. Plus, Paramount Skydance messy behinds over here working with using some Middle Eastern coin to get their hands on Warner Brothers Discovery. We got to talk about that funky Dineva messy ass thing that went down yesterday. Y'all know I was in the middle of doing my live. I didn't even know what happened until I logged off. I'm like, damn, if I would have known, I would have added that to the show, but whatever. We're going to talk about it today. And if y'all ain't seen it, we got the video. So we got to talk about that. Plus, I figured Kandi was going to do this. Apparently, the reality TV footage that she's been accumulating over the years with her and Todd, she's planning on using that in the court of law, dealing with this divorce and all of that stuff. So we got to get into that. Jada Pinkett Smith is being sued for threatening one of Will Smith's snitching ass friends. He's wants $3 million out of the situation. Simon Cowell is looking back on how he was a tyrant over there at American Idol and pretty much saying that he's sorry for how he was back and for being a dick, basically. Word on the curb is SJP is pushing for one more Sex in the City movie. I'll give my thoughts on that. We got to also talk about Drag Race Season 18. I knew it was going to happen this week because I told y'all a week from today is the actual New York City, media premiere and all that other stuff. So if it wasn't going to come out yesterday, I had a feeling it was going to come out today. So I saw that they dropped it. We're going to talk about the queens and everything that's going on with the upcoming show and all that good stuff. Plus, it looks like the Boulet brothers, they're about to wrap up their season of Dragula Titans. And they've got a new anthology series coming out called Holiday of Horrors. So we'll get into who's part of the cast, who's going to be starring, the writers, everybody that worked on that, and a whole lot more. So the Boulets are pretty much taking over Shudder, and I'm here for it. So before we get to said topics, if you could please do me a solid, hit that like button. If you are new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that we know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Let me check and see. I'm like, do people hear me over here? I check my audio. Let me put some chapstick on because I know I'll be licking my lips a lot on this show. Hold on. Let's see what the peoples are saying before we get to the comments. Onyx says, I just found out the cast season 18 got announced and reading the docket for today's topics. Well, I'm glad to be the source of your information. We definitely will get into that. Sailor Mermaids in the building. I was like, let me keep it short and sweet today because I've been doing too much with like adding 15, 16 times. I need to narrow it down to a good 10. How's everybody today? Well, it's been good for me. I was off today, so don't be trying to call me out to my always be late. I sure do. That's funny how in my regular work time, I'm always on time. I'll be an hour early for work because I can't stand dealing with all the last minute stragglers that come into the garden. The lines be long for the uniform room and all the other stuff. Yeah, we got people that actually clean out uniforms and all that other stuff that we wear up in there. So the lines be long, crazy long. Is always something. Then people want to take lockers. It's a whole drama. I mean, it's a whole situation. So I'll be early for work. When is this show? Because I'm pretty much the boss. I'll be late. But yeah, I'm glad y'all know this. I'll be like, I hope y'all don't be calling me out. Technically, I was gonna come on at 5:15, but for some reason, I don't know, StreamYard been acting weird. So I was trying to change the time. First of all, they wouldn't let me link my Facebook to the channel, to the whole situation. So I was like literally like giving it a second, restarting, giving it a second, adding it, giving it a second, and it did it. I had to do it like 7 times before it finally took. Then I was like, oh damn, I forgot to change the time. So I was going to change the time. Then it wouldn't let me change it. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna just leave it at 5:30 because initially I was gonna come on 5:15, but whatever, we're late. But I do show up. You said, am I wait, you trying to sound why do I sound sick? I probably am. But I did notice that I was getting sniffles. It's always because this weather, it's so much the weather is bipolar in New York, and people are nasty. People don't cover their mouth. People don't wash their hands. People don't do all kinds of stuff. And you know, I be interacting with people all day, every day. Mm-mm. No, it wasn't no technical issues. I was just late. But and then I had to add the picture. So, actually, what I was doing was I was cooking and all this other stuff. So during the big Funky Dineva segment, when I play that whole video, which is like 15 minutes, I might have to run into the kitchen and check on because I made some muffins and I don't want them to burn. So I'm going to have to check and see how they doing. You know, but yeah, hopefully I'm not getting sick. I saw that too. But didn't I send that to you? You said, Jen, I wonder if it's gonna be a long season. Oh, you're talking about Drag Race? I mean, it's 14 queens, right? One of them allegedly got eliminated for hitting somebody on the show. We'll get into that when we get around to it. When we talk about the Discord Adams, these are hopefully no trolls today. Well, look, if they come in, I'm gonna be cussing they behind out, or y'all can help happily do it for me in the comments. Allegedly, we're getting a second screen trailer. Oh yeah, I did hear about that too. I meant to bring that up, but there's supposed to be another trailer coming out this week. And I heard Critical Overlord talking about it. Oh, they need to reveal more about Stu. I'm like, no, they don't. I mean, give us what you need to give us, but don't reveal so damn much that because the one thing about Scream y'all got to do is the misdirection. Too much revealing people, too much stuff I can't worry about. I just don't want them to reveal too much. You said my Apple Music replay came out, Girls Loud, Tom Turner. Well, she went to number 2 for that horrible music. He said, "Ooh." He said, "No, I was just late." Not a muffin top, but can you imagine muffin tops? Isn't that like when you got a fupa? Isn't that what a muffin top is? I'm loving the Madonna Songbook podcast. I'm like, I've never heard of that. Madonna Songbook podcast. Send me a link to that so I could. Is it something to listen to or watch? Well, whatever it is, send it to me. And he said, "Oh, I don't mean to be pushed, but don't forget to tell me." Oh yeah, I forgot I gotta do that because December, New York City. I mean, New York City. November was crazy for me. December's gonna be even worse. So, you're right. I have to look at my schedule, but I know my weekends is crazy. There's doubles, there's triples, there's. Child, I'm gonna just have to pray on it. But look, I like being busy. More money for me, but then also I do make money doing this show. So I work for Google technically. A guy wrote the songbook. He started a podcast after he did. Oh, so somebody that was on that show actually that appeared on the podcast, got inspired and decided to do their own podcast. Well, I hope that's what um a lot of people started. This Spanish guy. I can't remember his name. He has like a little gap at the bottom of his tooth. I actually ran into him on the train one time because I was on my where was I? Oh, I was on my way to the gym. I don't know where he was on his way to, but he was with another homosexual. I'm assuming because they was real affectionate. And I was like, oh, where do I know? I'm looking at his face, and then all of a sudden I'm like, where do I know him from? Because I be having moments where I'm like, where do I know certain people from? And then he started talking, and I saw that bottom gap. I was like, oh, wait a minute, I know him. He be doing videos on Madonna. So, oh my God, see, I hate you, Cleveland. Now I'm starting to think that I might be getting sick. But anyway, yeah. I mean, look, if it boils down to us having to do it sometime in January when my schedule is less hectic, then we can schedule it for around that time. But before, it was funny. With my friends, I used to always do karaoke. Like when I used to work at AMC, when we be having them late nights and we get out of work, it'd be a bunch of us. Cause that was like, I felt like AMC was my favorite job because I made so many cool friends working there. I didn't like pretty much the people that worked at the top, but I liked a lot of the people that I worked with. The manager was cool. The first round, when they started bringing in these new people, I was like, I don't like you McGilla Gorilla looking motherfuckers. But the first round of people, because they was all messy and I was able to get away with murder. That's why I like the the other regime. We used to go and do karaoke in Koreatown, like and even in the what is it? Like on the 30, like around in 34th Street in that area, there's like a little Koreatown type area. We used to go over there and do karaoke all the time. I used to get my life. And of course, child, don't give me the microphone because I will go off. You said, I think that is his name, Matter. I couldn't remember his name, but you just said that. When he's saying the online generation for wanting Madonna, but not Madonna herself. So that's why that's what I saw on the train. He said, when did you work? I used to work at the one in Times Square. That was the one I used to work at. I never stepped ever since they fired my ass on Christmas because I called. Well, I'm gonna tell you why I got fired. Because I said to the manager was gonna beat her ass. But I didn't I whispered it. This snitching ass old queen security decided to tell her what the fuck I said, and then I ended up fired. But I was like, whatever. I went to work for the circus anyway, so that was like, that's when my friend Peter Carrera hooked me up with the circus because he was the manager over there, and I was like the first one he hired. So of course I got the big position. I was what was I? Oh, a head usher. So it was like the manager of the ushers. If they needed two of us, because the big top is big, hence being called the big top. So ever since then, I don't step foot in that one. I'll go to other AMCs, but I never step foot. And I'll run into my old coworkers. Actually, I'm still friends with a lot of my coworkers from there. So I remember the stories you told. Oh yeah, there's that. And almost beating the manager as at least you still have AMC Plus. Well, I do have A-list. It took me a while to come around to that. Being like, you know what, let me just get A-list because I got tired of spending so much damn money on movies. Could have went to Regal, but Regals are so far out of my reach. AMC's are more convenient, so that's why I stuck with them. But AMC, I was just like, I was like, let me just get the damn A-list. The only thing I'm mad about is like for certain events, you got to pay full price. Like when I went and got a ticket for Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, which I'm going to see after work on Sunday. I got a 10:30 a.m. call time on Sunday. I'm going to die. And then after that, I'm like, I'm going to go to the gym. I already got my day planned out. And then after that, I'm like, I'm going to go see this movie. That movie's going to be over 4 hours long. I'm going to be 3 sheets to the wind by the time. But yeah, I had to pay full price for a ticket because you can't use your A-list for it. So I was a little annoyed, but whatever. I never saw that version of Kill Bill in a theater. So I was like, let me just get a ticket. But I had to go to the one on 34th Street because when I wanted to go to Lincoln only had front row seats. And there was only one time, well, actually 2 times, but that was a mistake. The second time was a mistake. First, well, I saw it 2 different times. When I went to go see Mortal Kombat Annihilation in the movies, I wasn't thinking, well, I was little. The people I went with got front row damn seats. I'm sitting there watching the movie like this, never again. And then I remember a friend of mine and I went and got tickets to see Underworld Evolution. And I was so tight because it was so packed in there and I couldn't get a seat. Oh, wait, this is before assigned seating, actually. So it's like when you buy tickets and you don't necessarily know how the seating and stuff is sort of a good luck thing. Thank God y'all do assigned seating now. Because back in the day, it was a shit show trying to get a good seat in the theater if they didn't have assigned seats. And so then the second time was Mortal Kombat Annihilation. I was so annoyed. I mean, not Mortal Kombat Annihilation. That was the first time because that came out before Underworld. Underworld Evolution. First of all, I missed the beginning, so I was mad. And then the second thing, I couldn't get When we got up in there, it was so packed. I was like, screw this shit. I was like, and I wasted good money. I was like, let me just buy. We're gonna wait for the next show and get better seats. I ain't even asked for a refund or nothing because I ain't know nothing about it. I was like, all I know is I'm just irritated and I'm just want to get up out of here. Let's go see this movie later on somewhere else where they have better seats. And no, I have not seen Zootopia 2. That's not something that y'all know when it comes to animation and stuff, that's not something I particularly run to the movies to go see. Yeah, it's like funny. I don't know, Felix. I don't know if you be paying attention to the chats and stuff, but I posted that Rocco genderless spread a while ago. Wait, hold on. Let me close that up. But anyway, enough yapping. I was like, let's just kiki for a minute. Let's have a kiki. And now let me hit my banner. Oh, there was this thing that's annoying that I don't like about StreamYard. Now they want to put timers on your banners. Luckily, before I went live, I had to shut all of those off because otherwise the banners would have lasted for like a minute and then they would have cut off. And I'd be like, wait a minute, what the hell's going on? So they're trying to introduce this. I don't like that. I like the format of how I've been having the show so that way the people that just jumping in, they know what the topic is. And it also helps me with the editing when I know where to do my cuts and stuff. I was like, no, so I had to go in and I had to change all of that. It's so annoying when you have to learn new skills, but it keeps me on my toes. So that way, when I get to a place of like, I can build my own studio and all that other stuff, I won't need an extra person. They can come in and build everything, but I can learn all the technology and I can do it all myself and keep the money. And I don't have to pay somebody to be a producer. Been there, done that. So it's like, I need to learn to do things on my own so I don't have to rely on other people. But anyway, let's get into the show officially. And hold on, is it there? Wait, it's not there. Why do I not see it? Oh wait, no, I don't want that. Hold on, let me change this. I gotta edit because I just realized I messed up on something. I didn't want it to scroll. Okay, I think I fixed it. All right, let's get into our first. Wait, that ain't our first topic. Let's start this over. Apparently, I'm still trying to figure out these new buttons up in here because I tell you, every day it seems like StreamYard wants to create something new in the damn thing. So let me hit the banner once again. Take two in action. Let's get into our first topic and let's talk about Stranger Things. So y'all already know Stranger Things is out already. The first 4 episodes out of the 8 that we have coming. The next 3 is supposed to appear on Christmas Day, which is good that I'm not actually working. Last year I worked for Christmas, worked the Knicks game. This year it would have been cool to get the time and a half or whatever, but the way they got my schedule the last week of before the new year, in a way I'm kind of glad I have Christmas off. But so Christmas I'll be able to sit at home and luxuriate and watch the last, the next 3 batch of episodes that they have coming. But if people are interested, they are about to release also the finale on New Year's Eve. So New Year's Eve, you got like 36 hours, I guess, to like watch it in a theater before it becomes available to the rest of us who don't want to go to the movies and want to see it on Netflix. Unfortunately, I'm not gonna be able to go because I'm working on New Year's. But which I don't mind because I used to do. I'm partied out from the era of New Year's New Year's parties, all that stuff. I've been there, done that, wore the t-shirt. It ain't nothing to brag about. And plus, the way y'all be overpricing a lot of these clubs and this, that, and the other. I don't want to go out to a club. I'd rather just make a good amount of coin and get my time and a half working on New Year's, watching everybody else get drunk and white girl wasted and all that other stuff while I'm sitting there watching my cointadas hit the bank account. So with all that being said, they revealed today the official runtime for Stranger Things, the series finale. And the official runtime for the finale will be 2 hours and 5 minutes. But then that kind of makes you wonder if you're going to see it in the theater, is it going to be 2.5 hours? Because y'all already know if Stranger Things is 2 hours and 5 minutes, y'all already know they show 25-minute damn coming attractions and all the other stuff in the theater. So if it's not going to be like this regular thing where it's just, okay, it's going to be silent and then they're going to put the movie on, I think you're going to have to sit through a bunch of damn previews before you get to the movie. So technically, for those of y'all who are planning on going to see it in the theater, it's going to be 2.5 hours. For the rest of us that are going to be watching it on Netflix at home, it's going to be 2 hours and 5 minutes. So according to Entertainment Weekly, they said series creators Matt and Ross Duffer signaled about 2 hours during early press for the 5th and final season of the series. But Netflix confirmed the duration in announcing the 500 plus locations across North America for the episode's theatrical release. Season 5, Episode 8, The Right Side Up, directed by the Duffers, will get a simultaneous release on Netflix and in select theaters starting New Year's Eve at 8 p.m. Oh, so they're saying that if you're not able to get a ticket at the 500 locations, come at the same time. So I thought actually that y'all, those who spent money to go see it in the theater, y'all was going to get to see it before the rest of us. But they're saying they're going to release it the same time, 8 o'clock. Well, then personally, well, technically for me, New Year's Day, will be the time that I'm going to be able to watch it because, like I said, by the time they drop the episode at home, I will be at Madison Square Garden working. So, they said the streamer launched pop-up website st5finale.com as an easy way for fans to look up the specific theatrical locations across the US and Canada. Though the Stranger Things finale theatrical run is but a blip, lasting from the night of December 31st to January 1st, so seats and screenings are limited. Quote, saying, quote, we're beyond excited that fans will have the chance to experience the final episode of Stranger Things in theaters. It's something we've dreamed about for years, and we're so grateful to Ted, Bella, and everyone at Netflix for making it happen, the Duffer brothers said in a statement, referring to, obviously, Netflix CEO Ted Sarandos and Chief Content Officer Bella Bajaria. So, or it could be Baharia. And then they go say, quote, getting to see it on the big screen with incredible sound picture and a room full of fans feels like the perfect, dare we say, bitchin' way to celebrate the end of the adventure. To be honest, I would think that it would be a good look for Stranger Things to be shown in like a Dolby or an IMAX. That's where I would love to see it because you get that booming surround sound, you get the crisp visuals, and trust and believe, when I was watching Stranger Things on my TV, it looked really good visually. So money well spent because they spent like what was the budget for this whole season? Like, I'm guessing. I know it's over 400 million, but I think it's in the range of like 420, 425 million, which is a lot of money. But to be fair, Stranger Things has earned the right to have that kind of amount of money being brought into this series. Even though there's been some inconsistencies with the story, and I'm having a little bit of an issue with like, okay, so the military have taken over the town and everybody's kind of acting a little oblivious to the situation. I'm like, how is nobody like noticing this? And then we go into the Upside Down. There's not many people working in the Upside Down. You would literally have people from, like scientists from all over the world. If you discover this other world that you can go into, you would have every single scientist from like around the planet coming in there to try to study this Upside Down, what makes it tick, what is its strengths, its weaknesses, how do you actually kill a Demogorgon, because bullets and broken bottles don't seem to work, but flamethrowers do. So there's been some inconsistencies in regards to the story with that, but we're gonna get into that in a second, because Entertainment Weekly did a story on that, which I thought was quite fascinating, how they brought up that people were complaining about there's some inconsistencies with the stories. So it's kind of like the Duffer brothers created this lore and they forgot to keep progressing the lore or looking back on things that they've already established and bringing that into the show, which is bound to happen because when you've done a show for so long, you take so long between seasons to create your scripts or whatever the case is. Sometimes you do forget some of the lore that you create. It's good on y'all out here who can keep up with all of this. Because with me in this show, you'd be lucky if I could actually remember what the hell I was doing yesterday, because the amount of information I have to retain over time and stuff. So it's hard to keep up with all this stuff. You got to keep like a whole mood board of all of the different things that you come up with. But so good on people out there who can keep up with all this stuff, unless y'all cheating. And what y'all was doing was, before the season 5 started, y'all binged the first season all over again, up until all the first 4 seasons. So prior to the launch of Stranger Things Volume 1, consisting of this season's first 4 episodes, all of the previous seasons made their way to the top 10 at the same time, a first for any series on the platform. So Netflix, just so y'all know, have not released streaming stats for Volume 1, although Samba TV's data reports 3.2 million U.S. households watched the first episode of Season 5 over the Thanksgiving holiday break. Well, that's when I watched it. I watched it on Thanksgiving because I heard, like, when I heard that Netflix crashed twice because everybody was trying to watch it on a Wednesday, I was like, I'm not even going to risk it because sometimes Netflix be a little wonky with my TV and it be annoying. So I'm like, I'm not going to sit up here and watch a little thing spin in the middle of the screen. I don't know. Netflix, sometimes I'll be wondering, like, well, all the stuff that y'all have on that damn streaming services, the streaming situation, it could be a little wonky and it's annoying at times. So, I was like, I'm not going to risk it. I'm going to wait till Thanksgiving because maybe a lot of people won't be really watching it as much as they want to do when you first come out the gate wanting to see the new episodes. The service also reports that 39% of all houses that watched any episode of Stranger Things 5 binged all the available episodes within the first 48 hours, nearly 2 out of every 5 viewers. Volume 2 will now bring episodes 5 to 7 to Netflix beginning Christmas Day at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And yeah, because I was one of those. My plan was I was going to stretch it out, but I got so sucked into this season. I'm like, damn, I'm going to just watch the whole season. Well, all the episodes that was available. So I ended up just watching the whole damn thing, and I never do that. Now, Noah Schnapp, I should point out, previously told Entertainment Weekly that Netflix won't show any of the cast the series finale in advance. Netflix has not confirmed as much to EW. Millie Bobby Brown, who plays 11, is hoping that for a chicken jockey moment for the theatrical screenings. Now, despite what was said in the press, the Duffers confirmed plans for a theatrical rollout for the finale has been in the works for months. And it's funny, well, he says that, but the way Ted Sarandos was acting over at Netflix, he was like, there's no plans to release the thing in theaters and people, and I don't know, I guess it was some backlash that he changed his mind or maybe he forgot, I don't know, or he was bullshitting. I don't know what the case is, but or maybe, yeah, maybe he was BSing the whole time. But I actually like the fact that he's not telling them, like, he's like, yeah, if y'all want to see the finale, including the cast, y'all have to go to the theater and see it. And I hope he does some cool thing where it's like the Duffer Brothers and the cast shows up at a theater, I don't know, in New York, LA, wherever you want. I would think it would be either one of those two. And just pop up and greet the fans and thank them for coming in and loving the show and enjoying the show and take photos. Like, that's what I would do if it was my show. Especially if me being a New Yorker, I would probably pop up and like, well, just to screw with them and show them like, look, bitch, I made it. I will go to the Times Square location because that's the location that fired me. Go there just to show their ass up and just be like, yeah, y'all fired me 10 years ago when I worked here, but look at me now. So I would do it as a flex, but also I would go with a fandom. And plus, a lot of celebrity red carpets, meet and greets, because when I used to work there, we used to do a lot of that's where I met Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively, when we did the Deadpool red carpet. We did the red carpet. We did a lot of red carpet. They do a lot of red carpets at that location. We do a lot of Q&As at that location. And we've had film festivals at that location. So the Times Square location is the most popular one where a lot of screenings and things go on, a lot of celebrities appear and all the other stuff. So it makes sense that if me being a New Yorker and I created something like a Stranger Things, that would be the theater I would go to. If not that one, I would do Lincoln. But for the most part, I would probably do to the Times Square one because that's also the one place where I met Hugh Jackman. He and I had a little brief conversation in the elevator, all that other good stuff. So, Matt Duffer also explained that everyone had to play super coy for a long time because they were still ironing out the details of the theaters and stuff. So that basically answered the question. So Ted Sarandos was playing coy because they had to figure out like the whole screening situation before they could officially come out and say something. Now, in regards to that, let's get into some of the other stuff regarding Stranger Things, where fans are calling out the series of continuity errors in the 5th season. Now, following the release of Volume 1 on November 26, fans of the hit Netflix series took to social media to point out multiple discrepancies between the flashbacks that Will Noah Schnapp experiences in the fourth episode and past history. And funny enough, when I was looking at the little boy that played, I'm like, did they film old footage or whatever? But I was like, that's some good casting because the kid looked like him, unless y'all did some CGI mess where it was you digitally had the dots on his face and then kind of made the kid look younger, which would make sense for the $425 million price tag, because you could use some of that money to do the digital de-aging and all that other stuff. But I guess ain't a little white kid, you put a little one of those Joey Lawrence bowl cuts on him, then it'll do. Now, following the release of Volume 1 on November 26th, fans of the hit Netflix series took to social media to point out multiple discrepancies. They also noted that Will's age when he was taken to the Upside Down has changed. The fourth episode of season 5, titled Sorcerer, sees Will come into his own supernatural powers after reflecting on key memories from his life, showing his mom, Joyce, who was annoying the shit out of me this season, by the way. But shout out to Winona Ryder. I do like her. Showing his artwork, meeting Mike, who, is played by Finn Wolfhard, at school and building Castle Byers with older brother Jonathan. Funny enough, because the way they framed the show this season, I totally forgot that he had that Jonathan, played by Charlie Heaton, was his brother. And I think it's because the way they've been doing the seasons, like when you don't see a show for so long, I'll be forgetting who's with who. So in the episode, younger Will and Jonathan can be seen happily constructing Castle Byers together on a clear, crisp day. However, fans quickly noted that wasn't how Jonathan described the experience building it back in season 2. They said, quote, Jonathan once said that when he and Will built Castle Byers, it was pouring rain and they both got so soaked, they ended up sick for a whole week. And it also makes no sense for them to act so normal when it's literally the day their father left the house. Now, another fan added he has no one else realized the error in Will's flashback when him and John are building Castle Byers and it's sunny and all pretty, but his talk to season 2 possessed Will. He literally said they stayed up all night and it was pouring rain and they were sick for like a week after. ... Plot hole. Now, Jonathan tells the story in season 2 episode The Mind Flayer, which is probably one of the episodes that I believe the Duffer Brothers said that you have to watch in order to, get yourself ready for season 5. There was like 4 episodes, he said, 4 key episodes that you could watch. I think it was 2 from season 2, and then it was 2 episodes from season 4 that he said you had to watch in order to like wrap your mind around season 5. Or to get yourself ready for season 5. And so they said, the Mind Flayer, noting that the siblings built it on the night that their dad, Lonnie, played by Ross Partridge, left for good. Saying, quote, we stayed up all night building Castle Byers just the way you drew it. And it took me so long because you were so bad at hammering. You'd miss the nail every time, Heaton's character says in the episode. And then it started raining, but we stayed out there anyway. We were both sick for like a week after that, but we just had to finish it, didn't we? We just had to. So now it's not the only continuity error fans are highlighting, as well. So they're also calling out a separate scene in the season 5 episode, The Turnbow Trap, in which Joyce, played by Winona Ryder, mentions that Will was 11 years old when he was first taken to the Upside Down. However, a missing persons poster featured on the show has Will's age listed at 12 years old at the time of his abduction. Joyce says Will is 11, but wasn't he 12 when he was taken to the Upside Down? A second added birthday gate is insane because he was 12, not 11. Well, look, child, there's only one 11 on the show, and that girl you see her in the picture that I got up here on the right-hand side. So Joyce, and they said a second. Oh wait, I already read that. Now the term birthday gate stems from an even earlier continuity error involving Will because the poor kid simply cannot catch a break. No, he can't. The second episode of season 4 takes place on Will's birthday, March 22nd, and yet there is no mention of it in the entire episode, leading many fans to assume that Will's friends and family had all forgotten it. So. Oh yeah, so they actually have the thing up here. Let me pull that up for y'all. Like, hold on. I was like, where is it? Oh yeah, because I found this thing that was on the Twitter. where they had the little missing person. Have you seen me? See, did it. Damn, he was little, 4.4 inches. Wait, he was 4'9". Well, child, he was little Kim taller than him. Well, at the time, because now he tall. But because she 4'11". The Devil Brothers later apologized for the date crossover. They said the honest response is clearly like the characters in the show. We also forgot about Will's birthday. This is what Matt Duffer told Variety in June of 2022. So the debate now is whether we adjust Will's birthday or we just let it be really sad. Now, Ross Duffer noted that at the time they were considering retroactively changing Will's birthday to May 22nd because it's too mean to imagine that everyone just forgot about him, saying it was an obvious mistake. And you have to realize that, yeah, they're human. At the end of the day, the Duffer Brothers are human. They're going to forget. They're not going to remember every little detail. But I do think, like, okay, that would have been the perfect opportunity for y'all to have, like, a mood board to remember, like, okay, whose birthday is which and, like, the key details. So that way, if you are writing something in the show, that you would at least remember some of the tiniest of details, because you know how these people are. They will find the craziest flaw. People like to nitpick, and they will find any little reason to just be like, well, you forgot, and you did this, and you did that. Okay, like, relax. People be doing too much. Sometimes people be a little too extra on social media when it comes to the stuff. It's like, y'all be looking out for, they be like fiending to come in for those gotcha moments. But anyway, so I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story regarding the series finale runtime for Stranger Things? Have you gotten a ticket to go see it in the theater? Me, unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to go because, like I said before, I'm working, but I'll check it out on Netflix. And look, I pay $20-some odd a month for Netflix. Well, actually, it's 18 to be specific. But I got my Netflix situation. I can watch it in the confines of my own home. So if I miss it, like the whole theatrical experience, that's fine. I'm still gonna get my theatrical experience when I go see another favorite film of mine, when it's the Kill Bill situation. So I'm good there. But this whole situation with this, I want to hear from you all, as well as the continuity errors that the Stranger Things fans are pointing out that the Duffer Brothers done messed up on. Maybe they need to hire some of y'all to keep them in check over there at the show. But it's over with them now. Now they got to move on, and hopefully they can continue that same success with Stranger Things with whatever other work they got coming. Don't end up like the I almost said the Boulet brothers. Don't end up like the brothers that are making the not Infinity War. We already have Infinity War. Avengers Doomsday. Don't end up like them over there, because the only time they actually had a big successful hit was when they did the Avengers. Then they tried coming out with other movies and none of y'all cared. So whether they produced it or whether they directed it, a lot of y'all didn't care. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Well, we all knew there's war crimes. First of all, these war crimes have been happening since, to be real frank, my birthday, September 2nd. That's when they first started dropping them bombs on those fishing boats. And you know, it's a Molly, you in danger girl moment when the mainstream media is talking about it, because y'all was acting like there was no actual killing of fishermen around the time. And where is Nicki Minaj now? Because two of the people that they killed on them fishing boats is from Trinidad. So she real quiet about that, but she got a whole lot of smoke for Nigeria. All in the name of Jesus, right? He said, oh no, not white girl wasted. 2 hours and 5 minutes that I can spend in the Exactly. And I would have said the same thing about Kill Bill, the whole bloody affair, but I don't even know if they ever plan on releasing that. They should, because I remember a friend of mine I've already seen it. I told her I saw it like I don't remember when it came out, but he managed to get a bootleg copy. I think it was released overseas or whatever. There was somebody that had an actual copy of the with the extra footage regarding the origin of Oren Ishii, which is the footage that they talking about, the new footage, whatever. It's an extension of that sequence. And the fact that when she's fighting the crazy 88s is not in black and white, is actually in color as it was intended, but because of the ratings board in the United States, they're like, it's too violent, so much blood. So you got to make it black and white because apparently we're a little squeamish when it comes to fake blood being splattered all over the place. It's like we don't know the difference between somebody actually being decapitated and fake body parts. And well, we would call those props, but you know what I'm saying. So with unlimited snacks and drinks. Oh, look who's in here. Mims. Nancy Mims. I did see your video yesterday on Funky Dineva, which was hilarious, by the way. They recouping all the money back with those nonstop commercials, which is annoying. I hate the fact that I have to sit up in there with all those damn commercials and stuff with the movies. And my dumb ass be showing up on time every time. So I sit through 25 minutes of it. And I was like, can I just show up late for once? I had no issues with watching it at 8 p.m. on Wednesday. Perhaps I got lucky. Well, you probably did. I try not to be drunk or high and Cooter Brown when I'm watching horror stuff. Speaking of horror, I was actually shocked. Shudder actually posted what the hell is that movie? Silent Night, Deadly Night, the original one, on their streaming service. Because, for years, that movie's been banned because they said it was controversial. But Shudder's now showing it. I'm like, yeah, I don't have to buy it. Well, the only way you can actually rent, you can't even buy the movie, which is annoying. But I guess because the remake is coming out, now they're feeling like they can kind of bring that on down. Kay is in the building. So I try edibles. Nah, no, honestly, I do. I rather edibles. I try. Well, did I tell y'all my story about when I was so hungry, my dumb ass went to a club, and in New York, especially in Brooklyn, I don't know if they do this in Manhattan clubs, but Brooklyn is a little more alternative, and the clubs are a lot better out there. So I went to $3 bill because there was a bunch of drag queens performing there. Lady Bunny also was there too, which y'all already know I'm friends with her. So she was performing. Jan was there. There was a bunch of celebrities, a lot of Drag Race girls. Magami was there performing, and I don't remember why I was there specifically. I know one of my friends was working or whatever the case was, so that's probably why I went. But anyway, so not only do they sell alcohol, but they sell edibles. So I was hungry at the time, and I had just come from work, and I ain't eating nothing. So my dumb ass decided to eat a whole Rice Krispie treat. That, of course, was an edible. Bitch, I was 3 sheets to the wind after I ate that. So the edibles are a lot more fun. I thought I was hallucinating. Never watched the episode. Mm-mm. How dare you? No, I'm just kidding. Oh yeah. That's why I have a Ready or Not 2 story, but I'm gonna save. I had that since yesterday, but I'm gonna save that for tomorrow because the trailer's coming out. So I'm like, I could just combine all that together. Yeah, and we just found out that the names of some of the characters, Sarah Michelle Gellar's name in the movie, and Sean Hattasey, who's playing her brother, and they have David Cronenberg, who is the iconic filmmaker, is playing the patriarch. I'm like, let me find out. Well, he's acted before, but his son directs too. But what was I going to say? Oh, they said, well, her name is Ursula. I'm like, no, y'all not naming Sarah Michelle Gellar character Ursula, and her brother, I believe, is named Titus. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that movie is. So we're gonna bring up the pictures, we'll talk the trailer, we'll do all the other stuff. I'm not gonna show it because when I showed that Diddy trailer yesterday, I gotta edit it out. So I can't monetize the episode. What else is now? What else is new? Netflix, like the rest of greedy corporations, they don't want to spend the money to buy new equipment. So, well, yeah, and they want us to, they want to raise the price for us to watch some damn Netflix, but y'all bandwidth and all the other stuff is still like on the lowest common denominator. Because that's the location they fired me when Virgos be Virgos. That intro was like, nah, I would literally go over there because of, yeah, I'm successful. Look at me now, bitch. Y'all still working behind them counters over at, you know, and I know there's some people that I'm like, damn, y'all still working here? You ain't think about like moving on? So I'm like, yep, I'm gonna just be up in here to show y'all, like, look at me now. The young Will Byers scene was, yeah, that's what I was saying. When I was looking at him, I was like, they definitely digitally imposed his face and made him look younger. I love Erica's scene with the family. First of all, Erica is hilarious. I like her, and I was like, y'all need to give her more scenes. Yeah, she said, I told you to eat the damn pie, and she pulled out that needle. I was like, yes. They said Trump hinted at, please. First of all, we've seen his brain is on a mental decline. Ain't no way in hell he's becoming um Trumplicans. First of all, that goes to show his mind is slipping because I can give you a better name. You can call yourself Trumpublicans. Why would you call yourself Trumplicans? That sounds dumb. Trumpublicans. You're like the new Republicans. You pretty much changed the way we look at Republicans. So why not call it Trumpublicans? It's like, sir, you're supposed to be the master marketer. Why I got to give you a better name? I'll give you that for free. I mean, quiet as it's kept. Even if I gave it to him, we know his cheap ass wouldn't have paid me any damn way. Trump don't never pay for nothing that he wants. People still like I heard he when they went and destroyed the east wing of the White House, them people still ain't get paid for the construction work. A copy and paste that someone I know said, no matter how you spend it, the duffers are garbage writers. Well, that's why I said that, you know what? This is why sometimes you need to hire people. Kind of like when we was talking about, what's his name? Zack Snyder. Visual genius, cannot write for shit. I mean, y'all did see that movie that he came out, Rebel Moon. Them movies was terrible. Used to love catching those tiny continuity errors in my shows when I was in high school. That's what I'm saying. I don't even have time to be like looking and nitpicking. Who got time for that? But I'm glad y'all doing it because y'all help me out. I ain't got to do much research. I do enough research. I have a spare Blu-ray. I could say, yes, please. Look, I will definitely message you my address if you can send that to me. We said Tarantino was talking about plans for a prequel to Kill Bill, focused on. But I did see that, and some people was like, with Pai Mei and all of them, and Esteban Bajel, which the guy that the actor played two parts, right? The one that played Esteban was literally the same guy that played the sheriff in the beginning that got spit in the face. He was playing two parts, but I was like, yeah, I heard that, and some people was like, well, how y'all gonna make a Kill Bill prequel without David Carradine? He did. I'm like, prequel means they will go back to the days where he was younger, so you can hire somebody that kind of looks a little David Carradine-esque to play the part. I mean, he was tall and lanky. I would say pick Bill Skarsgård. He can actually do action. I saw that. What was that damn movie that he was in? It was an action movie he did. I was thought he was pretty good in it. He's a little tall and lanky, so it was like he was kind of holding back a little bit because his legs are so long. But y'all can find somebody that can play that part. Yeah, I definitely saw how skinny Detective Latoya looked. She looked a mess. Maybe she need to ask Janet for some of that weight. I'm not saying Janet fat. I'm just saying that she could ask Janet to give her some of that weight and put on her because Latoya looked Cynthia Erivo, Ariana Grande, Frappuccino skinny. But anyway, let's get back into the show. Now that we've entertained all the shenanigans, let's talk about the Diddler. So the Diddler documentary came out yesterday. Or was it today? No, it was today. It was like probably at like 3 a.m. I was probably asleep, so I didn't get to see it because last night when I got off the live, you already know the Funky Dineva thing done spilled, and I didn't find out until I literally just like closed everything out, and I was trying to check all my stuff on the YouTube when I gotta do the edits, and all of a sudden I'm seeing Funky Dineva and the thing, and Mims, shout out to you if you're still in the room. I saw he immediately did it, but I'm like, damn, how'd you work that quick? But I was like, we're gonna do that one today. But anyway, so the Diddy doc came out. I didn't get around to watching it because I was preparing, putting this show together, and I was catching up on so much other stuff. And plus, I was watching a bunch of other things. Like I had to catch up on entertainment news. I had to catch up on Dragula's thing yesterday. They had like the reunion. Drag Race don't even do that anymore. But anyway, so the Diddy thing came out. There was a lot of tea that they spilled. First of all, from what I heard, because I didn't get around to watching it, but hearing all the details from other people that was talking about it, we didn't really learn much that we didn't already know. And plus, I already told y'all I've watched so many other Diddy documentaries. There was one that I saw, I believe, that was on Peacock that got into his whole backstory on Janice Combs being a damn pimp and having them type of search parties at their family home, and then the cousin and him would be up in the house and they would be seeing all the humpations going on. And then there was I think it was a 4-part or 5-part, I can never remember, docu-series that was on HBO Max that I remember seeing, and they was getting into bigger details. So I was like, what other angle with 50 Cent petty ass, and what is he gonna bring to this whole situation that will make me want to be interested and want to check out the show? And from what I was hearing, it's a lot of the unauthorized footage, which Diddy and his people are claiming is unauthorized footage. I heard they sent out a cease and desist to Netflix. Netflix told them, you can kiss my entire ass at Macy's window. They still got the episodes and everything up there. They not even paying Diddy's team no damn mind. They got the footage. They got it from somewhere. We don't know who they got it from, but all of that is on there, and it is what it is. And I guess that's what it is. So with all of that being said, Variety did put together a compilation of all the things that they learned from this episode, in case y'all don't want to sit and watch it. I'm going to still get around to watching it and when I have the time to, sometime this week. But let's get into it. So this is the long-awaited docuseries Sean Combs' The Reckoning, which was announced in late September 2024, has arrived on Netflix, and the 4-episode chronicle of the life of rap mogul Sean the Diddler Combs. You know, every time they put Diddy, you know, I always call it the Diddler because that's the name he goes by in here. In the Avalon household, they said Sean the Diddler Combs is filled with darkness. Yeah, he dark-sided. Remember when that big lady, she was like, "You are dark." From a turbulent childhood to a career that turbocharged off of tragedy in his community, the 4-hour project reveals much more than just the prostitution charges he was found guilty of on July 1st, resulting in him being sentenced to 50 months in a New Jersey prison. The Reckoning, which was directed by Alexandria Stapleton and EP'd by one of Combs' longtime hip-hop enemies, Curtis 50 Cent Jackson, is sure to shock fans with its access, which includes footage Combs commissioned to be shot the week leading up to his September 16, 2024 arrest for federal sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution, and racketeering. Now, from Combs' sketchy plan to activate a pro-Diddler social media campaign to continue questions about his involvement with Biggie and Tupac's deaths to numerous jabs at his lack of musicianship. Yeah, because they been sitting up in there like, you going to sit up here and tell us about music, and you ain't even a musician. One of the things I guess Diddy was good at, because you know he couldn't play an instrument, and like he always said, he wasn't a rapper, but he didn't write rhymes, he wrote checks. So that's how he was able to get that loophole of, oh, I can be the talent. Y'all just write the lyrics or whatever. I'll get up in there and say it, and I'll be the talent because I can do my little Diddy bop and all that other mess that he was doing, and live vicariously through all the talent that I was screwing over at Bad Boy. Y'all know the history. We heard the Locks when they went in on Diddy ass over the phone. What show was they on? Were they on Angie Martinez or something when that went down years ago? Where it was like they was cutting. Well, I don't know if they was cussing him out. Maybe they were, but Jada Kiss and all of them was getting into it with Diddy on the phone about how he was doing them dirty and all that other stuff over there. And we already heard that, you know, Diddy was taking advantage of people. And even Aubrey O'Day was talking about how, like, he was all of a sudden, when he was trying to turn over this new leaf, which I didn't buy into it from the beginning, but I had people that was sitting there, oh yeah, Diddy said he trying to give them their masters. I said, oh please, this is all the ruse. He done squeezed all the juice out of the damn lemon. There ain't nothing left to them damn masters, and that's the only reason why he's giving it over, because it ain't worth nothing now. And even Aubrey confirmed that the masters and all the other stuff, them getting their original music and everything back, there was a string attached, which would be if they sign over, if they sign on the dotted line to get the masters and stuff back, they had to sign an NDA where they couldn't even speak on some of the stuff that was going on while they was a part of Danity Kane, which we're going to get into in a second once we get through all of this. Aubrey O'Day being interviewed in this docuseries where she talks about that apparently she was assaulted allegedly by the diddler and she didn't even know it. Somebody had to tell her. And she talked about that she don't want, like, if she was assaulted by the diddler, she don't even want to know. But she also did say back in the, which makes me believe it, because back in the day, she said that there was some type of sexual quid pro quo type situation. Diddy was trying to proposition her, and she was like, no. And I believe that because she wouldn't give him what he wanted, there was some sense of retaliation where he decided to want to fire her and all this other stuff from the group and trying to say, oh, she's being too sexual, whatever the case was. I don't think that Aubrey was pushing the sexuality. She was just she was a young, sexy girl. She had big boobs. She had all the other stuff. Well, I don't remember. Well, she did get implants, so I can't tell you if she was naturally boobalicious or if it was just, she was giving that because she went to the surgeon that she went to. So now let's get into the rest of the thing. So Combs would-be propaganda campaign. So they said in the first batch of footage shot in the Park Hyatt Hotel in New York City 6 days before his arrest, Combs had a tense call with his lawyer, Mark Agnifilio, about his public perception against him on social media. He hoped to arm up his image by hiring a strategist who is from this country or from another country, and it could be somebody that has dealt in the dirtiest of dirtiest, dirty business of media and propaganda. And we hear him mention that when we saw the little teaser and stuff yesterday. So he didn't care who these people was coming from. He would just wanted somebody to come in and try to clean up his image. But, sir, those of us that got eyes and actually have common sense, we saw through the BS. And I've been telling y'all for years about Diddy, aka the devil, and how he was. But of course, I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Now I see everybody seeing it for what it is. I ain't never liked Diddy because I knew how he moved. And I'm glad now people starting to wake up and see it. So then they also told about his childhood, which is Combs's father, who was a figure in NYC drug dealing, was unalive when his son was when Diddy was 3. So after his unaliving, Combs's mother Janice introduced him to a life of wild parties at her house, according to his childhood friend Tim Patterson. In Sean's household, you start to see all the stuff that you saw in the movies. Janice knew how to throw a party, and the parties were packed. You got the ladies who looked like they were straight out of a Jet magazine. Some brothers up there, if you wanted to call them pimps, you could. If you wanted to call them hustlers, you could. You got a member of the New York Knicks or two. Well, I wonder who was up in there, because with me at the Garden, I'd be around the Knicks all the damn time. And the veterans. I'm not talking about Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart and all of them. I'm talking about the OGs, like Patrick Ewing be there every now and again. John Starks be up in there every now and again. So, and even Walt Clyde Frazier be up in there. So I'm wondering, like, which ones? Name them. So they also said there was a stage in her living room. A stage? And they said, and that's where we used to have to go and dance. And everybody calling you baby. And everybody saying, do that dance and all the stuff he taking in. So, yeah. So basically, like I said, he had to learn it from somewhere. So the freak offs and all the other stuff, clearly he learned it from his mama. You know when they always say, oh, I learned it from my mama? Literally, he learned that from his mother. Because Janice was the one that was starting all of that when he was growing up. And that's why I was telling y'all. So now it seemed like with that thing I just talked about, I ain't going to learn much from Netflix because I knew that when I watched I think it was the Peacock documentary where they brought that up. And then again, in the HBO Max docuseries that they did on him. So I already knew about that part. Now, they talk about the violence, where Janice was a violent disciplinarian. His beatings made me scared. I got beatings now, but when he got his beatings, it wasn't a joking thing. The documentary also shows a clip from Combs and his mother on Inside the Actor Studio, where she said regarding his upbringing as a child, he got a lot of beatings too. And that's how parents look. I totally understand. As me being a child of the 80s, I was getting my ass beat until that one time I went to school and them people saw them bruises on my arm and Child Protective Services was called. And they came to the house unannounced. It took me in the room. And it's funny how I was way smart. I was smarter than your average kid. Well, I did tell you I went to a school for gifted and talented people, and I know what it meant. So they basically took me in the room or whatever the case was. And I understood back then, like, yeah, I was getting beatings or whatever because I was a badass kid in school. Like, even though I was smart and all this other stuff, I was always doing things where it was like a cry for attention. It's middle child syndrome. So the lady took me into the bedroom, whatever, and she was like, well, do you want to stay here or do you want to go to, like, I guess I felt like they was gonna put me in a home or whatever. And it was like I was a mama's boy at the time, kind of still am. I'm very close with my mother. But I was like, no, I want to stay here. Cause I knew, like, at the end of the day, my parents weren't like evil, abusive SOBs or whatever. But they was real serious about the whole, abuse thing back in the day. So I ended up staying because I was like, you're not going to take me up and put me up in some damn foster care and I end up lost in the system. So back in the day, that's how people dealt with stuff. Now it's different. I know a lot of people talking about that now these parents want to be a kid's friend more so than they parent. They need to bring beatings back for some of these goddamn kids. The way these little bastards be running around, these little baby kids be acting. Oh no, they need to bring beatings back. And then I would tell and tell them put it on some damn social media. I remember one time when I was in school, I'm gonna tell all my business. I ain't got no shame in my game. Yeah, my ass beat in front of my class because I was acting up. I think I cursed out the teacher or something. My mother took me and beat my ass in front of the class and said, and do it again. And back in the day, thank God there was no cell phones. Because if there were, I would never let this down. So that was in the memory. And now I told y'all, and there's no evidence because we didn't have cell phones in the 80s and the 90s growing up. So, and then they talk about the infamous outburst that Diddy had with his mother. And then I remember like one of his friends who I think, what was it, Kurt Burruss, went and got up in Diddy face about, don't be talking like crazy to your mother. So they said the violence allegedly between mother and son went both ways. Now, in his early 20s after the celebrity basketball game, the one that Diddy had to go, didn't he go to trial for because all them people got trampled on and 9 people died? He should have been locked up then, but he was able to slither his way out of that. That and the incident with Shine, where him and J-Lo Jennifer Lopez got the mug shots. So yeah, now they said that in December 1991, that Combs promoted resulted in a stampede and the deaths of 9 people. His mother questioned his work. Kirk Burruss, the co-founder of Bad Boy Entertainment and a close friend of Combs, said, "I saw Janice question Sean. He was going into his music business thing. He just left school, and now this extreme tragedy has occurred." She's like, "Did he make the right decision?" And I saw him put his hands on her, call her a bitch and slap her. Oh, I be damned. See, but you created that monster. But at the same time, everybody know you don't put your hands on your mama. You don't put your hands on your parents. So clearly, with her smacking him around and stuff, it wasn't enough. Because then it just became a learned behavior that he just put back on her. So then they started, of course, they started talking about when the hitting started with women he was in relationships with, like with Misa Hilton, which is, isn't that Christian mother? Or is it Justin? I can't keep up with how many damn baby mamas Diddy got. He got a lot of them. One, I believe he took their life, Kim Porter, allegedly. But so they said per Burruss, Sean's jealousy got to the point where he will put his hands on her right outside of Uptown Records. They're fighting in the street and he's beating her into the car. Well, she's on the ground and people are pulling him off her and separating her. Similar to the same thing with Cassie in that situation where they actually interviewed 2 of the jurors that was on that trial. And based off of the jurors that they had up there, the girl that they interviewed, she seemed like she was a damn groupie. And this is why I said this was the thing that I was afraid of when it came down to this whole situation with this Diddy trial. Good luck trying to find regular people who don't know who the hell Diddy is. Diddy was in every situation. His hands was in every pot in between music, media, film, merchandise, fashion. Like his hands was in everything. So try to find somebody who lives under the furthest of rocks that didn't know who the hell Diddy was and try to see if they could come in being a neutral Nancy or a neutral Nate in the situation. you were going to be having a hard time finding it. And I felt like some of the jurors, there was some of that, DV wasn't on the docket in regards of a charge. That should have been one of the charges y'all put up in there. That, yes, there was some domestic violence situation going on, especially with him and Cassie. And people was like, but she was always sending him things about she need him, she love him. Y'all never heard of Stockholm Syndrome? Y'all don't know what that is? But then again, that was the attorney's fault, where they should have explained Stockholm Syndrome. That is like, yeah, there are people that get so broken down, because it starts out, when it comes to the abuse, it always starts with the mental before it gets to the physical. So they break you down mentally. And then once they've broken you down mentally, then you start incorporating the other things. So when you get to a point where you feel like he done tore you down to where you're literally just a plaything, or a piece of nothing, yeah, you're going to keep thinking like, oh, but he loved me. No, he don't. Because a real man ain't going to put his hands on you. A real man ain't going to call you all kinds of names and tear you down until you're like absolutely nothing. That ain't what a real man does. And it wasn't shit manly about the diddler. So then they were talking about the sexual intimidation at work. So Burruss described the time Combs used a sexual situation in the office as a power move. One time, Sean was in his office. I'm in a little cubby hole around the corner, buzzes me. So I get up and I go in with my papers and go, a girl is giving him a BJ at the desk. He wanted me to see that. He wanted me to see her face, and that he was able to get her to do that right then and there in the office. She leaves, quote, what did you want me for? Oh, I didn't want you for anything. That was the beginning for me to see this is what was going on here. So he's pulling power moves. He wants to do all kinds of stuff where it's like, oh yeah, I want you to see me getting my pee sucked on. And it's like, okay, so why do you want me to see this? Because you thinking, well, I'm gonna get on my knees one day when you want me to, and start doing a slurp, slick 'em. No, I ain't slurping nothing. You better call that bitch back in the office and do it. And if I end up out of a job, oh well. But then again, in those days, it was sort of like, even if I was to try to go and get a job somewhere else, which was explained in prior docu-series and things, that he would make phone calls and be like, oh, this person is difficult to work with, don't hire them. And the industry is real small. So even if you in the right, Diddy, with his power moves, he could make a phone call and pretty much have you blacklisted. And this is what happens in a lot of these situations, which is why people need to believe a lot of the victims when they come forward with these things later on, versus, well, why didn't you come out then? Now, I do think there's exceptions to the rule when it's like, yeah, certain people should have came out with certain things at a time. But then again, the laws regarding statute of limitations and things, y'all need to catch up with that and realize that, yeah, there's a true thing about power moves, where it's like, if you're a powerful person and you got a lot of people who understand that this person makes them a lot of money, you're going to have a lot of people in places that protect you. And Diddy got away with a lot because he made a lot of people a lot of money. So then they also brought up new footage of Biggie's unaliving. And they said, it's quick and grainy, but the documentary includes never before broadcast footage of the moments before the drive-by pow-powing of Combs's associate Christopher Wallace, aka Biggie Smalls. In March of '97, it also includes audio of the gunshots and a panicked 911 call. So they also said that, well, not truly believe this, that Combs ushered Biggie into his unaliving. So they said the story surrounding the night of Wallace's death hinges on the rapper supposedly wanting to do a peace tour in LA in March of '97, despite an overall West Coast East Coast rivalry, specifically between Combs and and fellow record label mogul Suge Knight, that had turned deadly after the death of Tupac Shakur in September of 1996 in Nevada. Yet Burruss refutes this claim of Combs, which Combs amplified in the 2017 documentary Can't Stop, Won't Stop, A Bad Boy Story. Burruss claims that Combs canceled a European press junket that would have taken them out of the country, despite Wallace's wishes to leave because Diddy wanted to do a party on enemy turf. And he said he's lying about that. This is what Burruss said of the idea that Wallace wanted to stay in LA. He lied about it and let me know that's a weak spot for him, and he's nervous about that information. He ushered Biggie to his death. And it's like, yeah, you was poking the bear, because quiet as it's kept. There was a story that came out in one of the docu-series. I don't remember which one, because I told her I've seen quite a few of them, where they said that The reason why Diddy had this issue with the West Coast situation is because Suge Knight wanted to create a East Coast division of Death Row Records on what would be considered Diddy's turf. Because Diddy felt like, I run New York, can't nobody else be up in here giving me competition. And he didn't like the fact that Suge Knight wanted to create an East Coast wing of Death Row Records. So that's where a lot of his beef and stuff ignited. But then you want to go on enemy turf on the West Coast and have a party? Because now you're trying to poke the bear with what was the Bloods? I said the Bloods and the Crips? Because you never know which ones is going to get out there and do the unaliving. When you got rival gangs and all this other stuff going out there. And I can't remember necessarily. Was it the Crips? Might have been. That Suge was associated with. Let me know in the comments because I can't remember. Then they also talked about the funeral price tag. So Burruss, who allegedly handled the bulk of the accounting and paperwork for Combs' Bad Boy Company, said money was a major issue when it came to the lavish funeral for Wallace. Sean said, we're going to do the biggest funeral for Biggie that New York has ever seen. When we start to put that together, he starts to see the price. He says, we're going to do the biggest funeral, but Biggie's going to have to not, oh, this ninja. He literally had Biggie pay for it. That sounds about right, because I've heard stories about how Diddy would be like, oh, we're going to do this lavish thing for this person and then give them the bill instead of you paying for it. So they said he was going to make the funeral be a recoupable charge to Biggie in death. Sean doing the big show looks good on him, but he's not going to tell the world that Biggie was going to pay for it. So yeah, so you pretty much, and I totally believe that from the beginning. He loved Christopher Wallace. Biggie was a cash cow for him. Diddy only loves Diddy. That's a grade A narcissist. So the fact that you had Biggie pay for his own damn funeral when he was the biggest talent to come out of Bad Boy at the time, you should have footed that bill, sir. But like I said, Diddy only cares about Diddy. Ain't no good gonna come to your monkey ass until you do right by all the people you done wrong. That's what I'm gonna say on that. And I'm a quote, and I curse you in the name of Seeley. Anyway, so then they get into and then the sex worker that was getting it in with Diddy and Cassie spilled some tea. Clayton Howard, a former sex worker who claims to have worked with Combs and his then girlfriend, Cassandra Cassie Ventura, for 8 years, talks at length about the infamous freak-offs and drug-fueled sex parties with the couple that were at the heart of Combs' trial. Many other shocking details have been discussed at length. We already know about the damn baby oil, the long sex sessions, Combs controlling Cassie, the videotaping, the beadations, the semen collection, where the guys had the skeet inside of Cassie, and then Diddy wanted to see that there was proof of the skeetation because should we say that he was into felching? Now, if y'all don't know what felching is, you better look it up. But Diddy, you nasty. Shout out to those of y'all out there that do felching. That's where I draw the line. A strange tribute to Biggie. So they said the most shocking detail from Howard: every March 9th, the day Biggie was unalive, they would fly me to wherever they were. I would hang out, drink, and party with them for 3 or 4 days while I had relations with Cassie of the sexual kind. I don't know if that was his release for that day, but they always call me on March. That is so gross. So you sent him there because you're dealing with the trauma of being in that vehicle with Biggie, that you basically would fly out a sex worker to ram your girlfriend, and that was your release on Big. Like, he's a weirdo. I'll tell you, 4 years is not enough for his ass to be in prison. So then they also talk about the tone deaf moment, which is the footage that they was talking about that, he was recording, which would be the footage that came out the week before they arrested him. He tried to do some reputation rehabilitation where he went through Harlem and he was interacting with the fans. And then when he got in the vehicle, he starts to say, oh, I need sanitizer. I've been in the streets amongst the people. I got to take a bath. The amount of people that actually I'm coming into contact with, that's what I got to do. So he's basically working y'all Like he worked every damn body. And then it's like when he get in the car, which a lot of these celebrities act like this. They sit there and, oh, I love the people. Oh, I love y'all. To get in the car, be like, them motherfuckers, I had to be around them old stink, nasty ass people. Don't know where their hands been. I gotta take a bath. I gotta sanitize my whole body. I gotta douse myself in hand sanitizer. I gotta pour it all over me. Like he is up on and all of that. Mind you, you doing all these little nasty ass freak offs, but you being amongst regular people, that's where you draw the line. But you worrying about diseases and getting sick? Okay, sir. So then he's like, yeah, because he was getting like 150 hugs. And he said, you got to be realistic about what's going on out here. It's time to cleanse. I got to go under the water. Water got to be boiling hot, but put some peroxide in that. Well, first of all, if you did all of that, your ass would be dry and ashy. What are you talking about? But then again, we shouldn't get that man no excuse to get any kind of baby oil to moisturize on the body. He do enough of the baby oil as it is. I think he's kind of made us look at. We haven't been able to look at baby oil the same since we all found out the things that we found out. Then it was talking about Little Rod, the producer that came out and worked on his last album, the 2023 record, the Love album, Off the Grid, where he basically said that Diddy abused him. So yeah, what it was talking about that the 13-month process which the lavish living Combs promised would end in ample opportunities and kudos for Jones was smoke and mirrors. All they offered me for producing the album was $29,000, which he still hasn't received. Furthermore, he is suing Combs for SA and spoke of the alleged misconduct in the documentary, including sharing video and voicemails and describing situations in which Combs would show him homosexual porn, or he'd wake up with Combs lying next to him. Now, didn't I tell you? Now, look, didn't I tell you that 50 was going to kind of spruce up the whole gay stuff? Because he said that he felt that the reason why, and I said this, but he mentioned it in the interview or whatever, but he should have brought this up even more. The reason why he's going after Diddy in so many ways because he don't like him and the way he moves, but also how he tried to pull a power move on him by trying to offer to take him shopping and all this other stuff. And he's like, that's some fruity type mess, which it kind of is. But I don't like the fact that if you do have tendencies, if you do have feelings for someone of the same gender, which I've always said that about Diddy being, how you doing? How you doing? Or he might be whole, how you doing? And just have such a disdain for women that women are just, cum rags for him. But he really like getting with the Mendeecees. There's a lot of men that do that. There are men out there who literally hate women and just look at women. And I'm not saying that all of them are gay. I'm saying that there are men out here who literally have no respect for women, who hate women, but will screw you because they need to bust a nut and get off. So you just there to satisfy their sexual needs, but that don't mean they like you and respect you. That's how some men are. So then we have the testification of Capricorn Clark, Combs' longtime assistant, who testified in the trial about how Diddy allegedly kidnapped her at gunpoint and tried to unalive Cassie's new boyfriend, Kid Cudi. Her new boyfriend at the time. Now, she shared the story once more in Sean Combs' The Reckoning, like other moments in the doc. While some of the details are known, it's powerful to hear Clark tell the story in her own words. So, yeah, sometimes it's different when you can get those people to sit down and interview them. But I think Capricorn also spoke in the HBO Max docuseries, if I remember correctly, because it's been a while since I saw it a while ago. It might have been earlier this year because I remember I was hanging out in Harlem when I actually watched it. But anyway, so Combs' PR team also makes friends in the court lunchroom. So they said during Combs' trial, his PR team allegedly would partner up with new media reporters such as YouTubers, bloggers, and TikTokers in order to get out their talking points. This is according to Tisa Tells. Shout out to her. I love me some Tisa Tells. She be cracking me up in the way she be doing her celebrity gossip deliveries and things. They said, quote, in the trial, one of the things that blew my mind is I actually saw a huge PR machine at play. I was one of the 14 members of the public that were allowed in the courtroom. Yeah, because Armand Wiggins and them was there too. I remember I was like, child, I live in New York and I didn't care enough to go down there and be a part of this trial. But if y'all want to do all the work and we'll just do the recaps of basically what y'all was reporting, we can do that here. Oh, wait, speaking of which, Mims was there too. Shout out to you. He came out to New York for the Diddy trial. And it's like everybody traveling from every other place to come here for the trial. And I live in New York and I was like, I don't care enough to sit down there and deal with the shenanigans. And it was like I was one of the what she also wants to say, other people that were TikTok, IG, and YouTube, they were right there with me. And I saw Diddy's PR team talking to bloggers, talking to everybody. Diddy's team actually approached me and said, hey, we want to give you the transcripts. Every day we send out and highlight the parts that you should actually pay attention to and that you might want to share with your people. Now, when that happened, I was like, okay, but no, thank you, right? In the lunchroom, Diddy's PR team was holding court. I saw them with a lot of bloggers, Instagrammers, TikTokers. Every day they would convene. They would be whispering back and forth. I literally saw how something would happen in court. And the same group of people that were like this with Diddy's PR, they were reporting their version of events. The documentary also posits that because the jurors were not sequestered, they could have encountered this version of events online as well. So yeah, there was that. And also to think about it is his people were trying to manipulate y'all. That was another reason why I want to go up there, because what you're not going to do is try to manipulate me in this mouth. I'm going to say whatever the hell I'm going to say regardless. And shout out to Tisa and all the other bloggers, social media people who have been doing this for a minute like I have. Who was like, oh no, what you're not going to do is try to gate me into or goat me into spewing your talking points because you want to fulfill a certain narrative for your client. We're not doing that. And I've been saying that from the beginning, that there was rumors going around that Diddy's people were trying to manipulate the court, including probably the jurors, to steer things in his direction. He's a massive manipulator. I told you, he's an egomaniacal sociopath. So I don't know why people are surprised by all of this stuff. So yeah, so I'm not surprised by any of this that they were saying. And for those of you, if we got some people that's still in here that, were there, I would definitely want to hear from some of the bloggers and things like, if Mims, you still in the room, definitely let me know if they were trying to goat you into getting the narrative of Diddy in that situation when you were doing your recaps. Because I remember watching some of the recaps. Amon Wiggins, I was watching some of his recaps. Tisa Tells, I was watching some of her recaps. Like I was watching all of y'all that was out there doing the Lord's work. So yeah, I definitely want to hear from y'all. I know this was a long one, but it was a lot. First of all, it's 4 parts, so there's got to be a lot that we have to break down. So yeah, there's that. We have that story. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of all of this from the Diddy doc? Did you catch the episodes? Did you watch? What did you think? Did you learn anything new? Has your those of you who are so pro Diddy and that man could do no wrong, and Cassie's still she got him locked up, like y'all still on this whole Megan Thee Stallion thing, still lying, believing that she ain't getting pow in the foot like Della Reese and Harlem Nights. Y'all want to sit up here and continue this narrative because a lot of y'all hate women. And I stand on that as the reason why a lot of y'all still out here trying to make it seem like women are getting men locked up. It's like if these men who are in powerful positions wasn't being seduced by the dark side and was actually using the money, the power, and all of that other stuff as a way to uplift instead of manipulate, or use their little charity cases as a smokescreen for them to do their dirt, Diddy wouldn't be in the position that he's in today. But it took a long time. It took 3 decades, but finally the chickens came home to roost. And he may not be getting enough time in jail, but them 4 years, hopefully he'll learn his lesson. But I doubt it based on all the things that we've been hearing. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. Let me know what your thoughts are on this story in the comments, this long-winded story, in the comments down below. All right, so now before we get to the comments, because I see we got a lot of them, let me get through this Aubrey O'Day story, and then I'll get to what everybody has to say in the comments. All right, so now let's talk about Aubrey O'Day, who was also in the Diddy doc, and she basically opened up about Sean Combs' The Reckoning, where apparently somebody had to tell her that she was R-worded by Diddy, but she says she has no recollection of that happening. So Aubrey claims she has no memory of allegedly being R-worded by her former boss, Sean the Diddler Combs. In 50 Cent's new Netflix docuseries, Sean Combs: The Reckoning, the former Danity Kane singer read an affidavit from a woman who claims she witnessed the Act Bad rapper allegedly engaging in the sexual crime as O'Day was sprawled out on a leather couch looking very inebriated, saying she was naked from the bottom half and she had something over her top. Puff Daddy was penetrating in her vagina, and there was another stalky, light-skinned man with his penis in her mouth. This is according to the affidavit. However, O'Day, who was discovered in 2004 on the third season of Combs' MTV reality show Making the Band, says she didn't drink like that at all during that time. She says, "I don't drink at all. It's never been an issue with me." The showstopper singer, who's 41, says she has no memory of what that woman claimed occurred and would rather leave it that way, saying, quote, "Even if I told her I didn't have a recollection of this, I said, could she be making a mistake? I asked in every way I possibly could think of, and she was certain," the pop star alleged in the doc. Does this mean I was R-worded? Is that what this means? I don't even know if I was R-worded, and I don't want to know. I don't want to find out anymore what that woman has to say. Now, if the woman is lying about the alleged R word, the damaged songstress said she would retaliate. However, O'Day shares that she wouldn't want to give Combs' legal team any power to discredit other victims. Saying, quote, "If she made it up, I would be compelled to take her the F down," she explained. And you realize the burden that puts on my soul for the past year, which is if I expose one victim who's got a civil lawsuit, that gives Diddy and his legal team credit to take down everybody else as potential liars. It goes back on my shoulders just like that. The weight of that man and the BS, I will never get up from under it. And that's the worst part too. Like there's literally people out here who have been victimized, and you got people out here who will sit and be like, "Oh, I would just want to make something up because I want money or clout or whatever the case is." And I hate those people. Like, I cannot stand the fact that there's people out here who literally manipulate and lie just because they want a moment. Whereas there are real victims out here who have been dealing with being assaulted or abused and are afraid to come forward because of people in powerful positions or whatever the case is. But hopefully the girl's not lying. But if Aubrey was assaulted because she said she didn't drink, but that don't mean that he didn't put something in your drink. He probably put something in your water, or maybe you were eating something. He drugged you. There's always ways that you can go around about drugging somebody. I mean, if the details are the details, the girl, I guess, has to have better details. Like, where were they? Where were you at the time? Where did she witness this, or whatever the case was? But it's like, yeah, now I can't take this girl down because, yeah, Diddy would use that as an excuse. We know he had no good SOB. He is a low down, dirty dog, but we don't want to give his people any energy or any credence to believe that, okay, you can get away with abusing this person. You'll try to discredit everybody because you already saw, based off the clips and everything you might have seen from this docuseries, the type of shady shenanigans Diddy was willing to pull to keep himself out of prison. It didn't work. He tried everything he could, and for the most part, when all of this stuff was coming out about him, I saw through the BS, and I kept being like, "I see you. I see through." In the words of Peaches from A Low Down Dirty Shade, I see through all that Maybelline. And so, seeing through all of it, we knew it was like, okay, Did you try everything you can to just not go to jail, and even when you was in jail, you still trying to pull so many shenanigans to get your release, get an early release. And since you've been getting in so much trouble at the New Jersey prison, they even had to move up your prison release by, I believe, what was it, a month? So, elsewhere in the doc, OJ claims that she was groomed during her time with Danity Kane. She said, "Diddy made it clear that I was the looker. I remember that phrase a lot. He was separating me, and there was a different set of expectations from me, and I just naturally float into the grooming." I said that she was kind of like the sex kitten type, and then he tried to shame her at one point for being sexual. But it was like, you were grooming from the beginning. But I already told you, when it comes down to people who are abusers, it starts with the mental abuse before it goes to the physical. So he's gonna gaslight you and say, oh yeah, you're the looker, you're the sex kitten, you're the sex pot. You have to be that type of girl. And then when you actually giving what he's subliminally putting down, then he want to gaslight you and be like, oh, so but you out here flaunting, or is it you flaunt your tits like you're Sharon Stone or something, and you're no Sharon. I just had to recite a line from Scream, but you know what I'm saying in regards to that. So she also claimed the last night MC, who's 56, sent her explicit photos via email. She said there were emails with pictures of his ding-a-ling. She said the P word, but I'm calling it ding-a-ling. Now, O'Day said before reading one of the alleged emails aloud, I don't want to just F you. I want to turn you out. I could see you being with some MFer that you tell what to do. I make my women do what I tell her to do, and she loves it. This is what the alleged email read. She said, I just want and like to do things different. I'm going to finish watching this porn and finish masturbating. I'll think of you, happy face. If you change your mind and get ready to do what I say, hit me, happy face. God bless Diddy. God is the greatest. Oh, he the greatest when you got your dick in your hand and you basically trying to skeet to completion? Like, this is what I can't with some of y'all. Y'all will sit up in here and throw God up in a situation while you got a mouthful of peen or God knows what else you got. So 6 months later, and I guess this is because she didn't comply to his advances, she claimed that she was terminated from the girl group. She said, I absolutely felt that I was fired for not participating sexually, but I also found out later that fellow Dandy Kane, Dawn Richard, and Puff were recording a different project. That must have been when she was doing Diddy Dirty Money. I was a star of the show, and Puff needed to move that entire audience over to a new project. Yeah, because remember the story that he was doing Making the Band, and I think it was a vanity project for him, because originally Making the Band was O-Town. That was Lou Pearlman project. And you know Diddy likes to colonize other people's work and pass it off as his. Why do you think that Motown made so much money off of Bad Boy? He was sampling every bit of their music to bring into his stuff. And then when you have TV, Making the Band was O-Town at first. And then when that whole show kind of went kaput, then he kind of picked that show up and decided, let's do a hip hop version. Let's do an R&B pop version of Making the Band. And he started developing things that way. And because hip hop was becoming a much bigger thing than like the boy band era, that was a good transition of that to be going at the time. So yeah, now he's supposed to be getting out of prison in June of 2028. So yeah, if you have not seen this if you haven't seen the docuseries, you already know it's on Netflix. Shout out to Aubrey. That's crazy, the hearing the tea about that. And I do believe everything that she said, including like him sending them inappropriate ass emails. And it's funny how these people were doing all kinds of inappropriate stuff and think they won't get caught. But I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story in regards to what Aubrey had to say in the detail that she revealed in that email? And them talking about that he watching adult cinematography and diddling with little Diddy. So let me know what you guys think of this while he's thinking of her, actually. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Ooh, child together. Now, speaking of showers, I feel like I need to take one after talking about them two topics. I was like, ooh, child, now you talking about you need a shower from hanging out in Harlem? I used to live in Harlem. I miss living in Harlem, actually. It's gentrified out there. I was like, no, I need to take a shower after talking about this. Nicki Minaj is close to being banned by Billboard charts. They admitting the barbs might be artificial force after it's revealed majority of Twitter isn't from America, including stan bases. Yeah, because they were talking about the people that was out here spewing craziness regarding like the Trump administration and the bots and all the other stuff that was on the social media, that a lot of them are from like places like Bangladesh and all this other stuff. They don't even live in the United States, and they're out here trying to groom people into a lot of Trump's ideologies. So yeah, they paying these, and these people, you know, they ain't making much money where they at. So all they got to do is go on social media and screw propaganda, and they make a good coin from that. You don't think they're going to turn that down? So I'm not blaming them for that, but I do blame the corporations for using outsourced material, you know, people from out of immigrants, even though they talk about how they hate immigration and want all the immigrants out of here, y'all go overseas and use these people that y'all paying in little rupees to spew propaganda to American people. American people, a lot of y'all brains is made of cellulite anyway, so y'all just be easily manipulated. Patience. You know me and my phrases. When are we? That's a good question, and they need to get Derek Dixon and Christian Keys to talk, but Christian got paid off allegedly good money. So he'll probably hit up Tyler Perry and be like, "Oh, they doing a documentary on you. So you gonna pay me some more money to keep my silence?" He says, "So you're like Marsha. Don't blame your mama, diddler. You evil." Well, he learned it from somewhere. He learned it from her. Associated. Oh, thank you. Because I was like, who was it? The Bloods of the Crips. He said, not some color purple roots. Okay. Until you do right by me. Okay. Way too much. Does he have access to sanitizer? That's a good question. Do they give sanitizer out in the prison? I don't know. I ain't never been, so I don't know. I mean, I've spent the weekend in a cell for fighting and had to go before the judge, but I never did like Rikers Island time. I gotta ask the people I know that work at Rikers as COs. Y'all got sanitizer that the prisoners be using? You said who you talking about gay as hell? You talking about Diddy? You talking about me? I'm like, no shit, Sherlock. I don't think it's a secret that I'm a homosexual with his own show. They said probably not. I've been seeing videos of people at grocery stores buying baby oil bananas. Yeah, because I'm like, what you plan on doing with that banana? And first of all, everybody knows, well, for those of you that like bottom it, why the hell would you use a banana? It's the cucumbers. First of all, they're a lot longer now. They're a lot thicker. If you need practice, get one of those or get you a toy. Why even work with the vegetables and the fruits and all that other mess when if them things get stuck up in you, you got to go to the hospital? Because I remember my aunt who was a nurse and when she lived in New York at the time, now she's in Atlanta. They moved out to Atlanta. She would tell me the stories about how they would have to remove things from men's orifices from prison. I mean, not prison, when they would come down to the emergency room. So why even subject yourself to that? That could be a little why she could be so triggered by him, besides everything else she went through. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She had to most likely be drugged. I remember seeing a video of him having a tantrum and he was jumping up and down like a... Yeah, he definitely acts like a brat. Didn't he have them try to jump? That was Total. That's what you're talking about. You talking about Total, talking about Jumping Wendy. Because I forgot what she said. But now, you know, Total's only two of them because Pam the bulldagger. And I stand on that. She is a bulldagger. Even though she tried to be all homophobic. I was like, girl, we know you eat the pie. Stop it. So just because you hating on the fact that you like pie don't and clams and things of that nature don't necessarily negate the fact that you's a bulldagger. And so she's no longer a part of the group. Because I remember when I worked the Queens of R&B tour, it was only Kima and Keisha. Pam wasn't there. And I think Total was just on, weren't they on the Breakfast Club recently? I saw a video like a year or two about what Donnie Klang has been up to. Yeah, I think he's married. He's got kids and all this other stuff. I think he still works on music. No, child of ghetto. Valid response after, well, I probably did say that, right? After talking about the dealer, I feel like I learned something. Well, you always learn something on this show, right? Vegan bottoming. All right, y'all. Let's lighten up the load a little bit before we get to the Funky Dineva story. And let's talk about Paramount Skydance. So, you know, Paramount, you know, shout out to the Ellisons. Y'all are some of the shadiest snakes I've ever seen in all of entertainment with the stunts and shows. Y'all are literally pulling over there to try to get access to Warner Brothers. I'm still hoping that y'all don't get it. But nevertheless, let's get into it. So, according to Variety, The second round of offers for all or part of Warner Brothers Discovery are in from Paramount, Skydance, Netflix, and Comcast. And the new higher offer for all of Warner Brothers Discovery from David Ellison's Paramount is backed in part by the sovereign wealth funds of Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and Abu Dhabi, according to Variety. Now, here's the thing. Now, y'all supposed to be big billionaires. First of all, David Ellison's father, we know, is like one of the biggest billionaires running around in all of the United States. Y'all want Warner Brothers Discovery so bad. Why don't the hell y'all use your own money? First of all, I don't even like the idea. Isn't it illegal for one company to just be buying up all of the studios? You barely have even gotten Paramount up and running. But yet, and I keep reiterating this, but you still trying to get your hands on Warner Brothers Discovery. Because, yeah, we already see y'all trying to turn CBS into some right-wing mess, and now I see that's what y'all trying to do with CNN. But then again, CNN is going to be the product of its own demise. They keep having Scott Jennings' smug ass over there on that damn channel. Y'all need to get rid of his idiot self. And then you recently had Stephen Miller's dumbass wife on there. So when y'all keep inviting these psychopaths over there because y'all want ratings, like the propaganda channel 4 News, y'all already doing the work. So at some point, I'm like, I don't even care if they get access to CNN. I don't watch CNN. CNN been cooked. But I don't want Skydance, Paramount, to have access to the movie division. We don't need y'all putting your little right-wing propaganda on a lot of our movies. Or when it comes down to your animated division, you want to ruin everything like y'all about to do with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm still mad at y'all for canceling the Ronin movie because y'all want to go back to, we need to gear it more towards we need to Sonic-fy the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles franchise. I'm like, for why? First of all, these new generation motherfuckers didn't grow up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. My generation did. So why are we trying to gear stuff towards the young ones when it's like, I grew up with Sonic because I played Sonic the Hedgehog when I had a Sega Genesis when I was growing up, and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I had the toys. I even had the whole setup. If y'all remember the toy, it had like the street up top, and then underneath it was the sewer. And I had all the Ninja Turtles and Master Shredder and what was it? Yeah, it was yeah, I had all of them. I had all the toys, and they used to make them fight and stuff inside the little sewer thing. It had like it had everything. A lot of the toys that I had growing up, they went all out with like a lot of the action figures and the big setups and stuff. Like I told them, like I had Castle Grayskull and Snake Mountain and all that stuff. So they really spoiled us as kids growing up in the 80s and the 90s. So the dollar amounts for the higher bid submitted from Paramount Skydance, which wants to buy all of Warner Brothers Discovery, greedy asses, or from Netflix and Comcast, which want only the Warner Brothers studio and streaming business and not their linear TV assets, like CNN and all the other little channels. I think the CW and all of them is part of Warner Brothers. Could not be learned. Paramount's latest all-cash offer is still mostly backed by Ellison's family, that is Oracle co-founder and billionaire Larry Ellison, and includes financing from Redbird Capital, Apollo Global Management, and others. In addition, the latest Paramount Skydance offer for all of Warner Brothers Discovery includes funding from Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, the Qatar Investment Authority, and the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority. Bloomberg News previously reported that Paramount's latest offer included the involvement of unspecified Middle East funds, which means now you getting in bed with the Middle East, that means that they're going to own a lot of our IPs out here. And then does that mean that they'll have a say in what type of movies get made, whether they're action or whatever the case is? Because now if you're using the Saudi Arabian, Qatarin, I don't know what the term is, people from Qatar, if you using their money, like what does that mean? That of course, when these people, you're taking money from these people, you don't think that they have an investment, meaning that they get to have a say so on what type of stories get told. So if y'all try to come over here with some anti-Muslim type of programming, they can go against that unless they're in it for it's like, oh well, we're not paying too much attention to that. We're in a deal. It's about the money. But I'm like, no, if you're going to come over here with some anti-Muslim propaganda as an investor, I'm like, oh, hell no, y'all not. Because a lot of American movies are notorious for that. It don't even get me started on the fact of me having to bring up in a conversation how America has had a hand in a lot of, we are notorious for being war criminals, especially going on now where they blowing up all those boats and the invasion of Venezuela. So they also said Netflix's second round bid for Warner Brothers, comprising HBO Max and the WB studio operations, was mostly cash, according to reports from Bloomberg and the Wall Street Journal. Comcast also entered a new bid for Warner Brothers. Variety confirmed Netflix has told Warner Brothers Discovery that if its bid is successful, the streamer would honor Warner Brothers deals to distribute films in theaters. Well, if that happens, get it in writing, because I do not, and you need to get in writing also the amount of time your movies need to stay in theaters before they get the streaming rights. Because Warner Brothers, not Warner Brothers, Netflix, we already heard from Ted Sarandos, he has a disdain for the fact of, oh, I don't like the old model of I need to put movies in theaters. That we're not in the business of doing that. But people have had to fight tooth and nail, especially with K-pop Demon Hunters and the series finale of Stranger Things, all of that stuff coming in. Now you have to kind of put that T out there where it's like, you're making those exceptions to the rule. Or when you want to get your movies nominated for an Oscar, then it's like, oh, we have to put our movies in theaters like a good 2-3 weeks or whatever the case is, so that way we can get nominated. And you hate the old guard of Hollywood, but you're willing to play the game when it is convenient, which doesn't make sense to me. Now, Variety last month reported that Paramount Skydance was assembling a bid for Warner Brothers Discovery with the backing of the three Middle Eastern wealth funds, which they denied. But now we keep hearing that it's more of this is coming out. But the Paramount non-binding bid for $24 share, excuse me, for all of Warner Brothers Discovery that Paramount Skydance submitted on November 20th did involve the three Arab wealth funds. David Ellison has been scheduled to appear at the New York Times Deal Book Summit tomorrow, that is December 3rd. However, with the bidding process for Warner Brothers Discovery in play, Ellison is now not expected to appear, although that could change according to a source familiar with the situation. So what's next? The Warner Brothers Discovery Board Committee, formally vetting the M&A offers, will now decide whether to go forward with one of the bidders and engage in a period of exclusive negotiations with that party, or whether to solicit additional proposals. Warner Brothers Discovery has been aiming to complete the process by the end of 2025. Now, to me, it's like, are y'all just stringing this along, or is there really any intent of Warner Brothers Discovery wanting to sell? Because AT&T screwed them. This is why they're in the bind that they're in now financially, because AT&T didn't know what the hell they was doing at the time when they first purchased Warner Brothers Discovery. And honestly, for many reasons why I've said many a time on this show, I don't want the Ellisons, Paramount, I don't want any of them to have access to Warner Brothers Discovery. If y'all want to go over there and promote your right-wing propaganda, Trumpian bullshit over there on, because Larry Ellison is good friends with Donald. If you want to go over there and push yourself, which we already see, like people trying to say, oh, he's not influencing. Okay, if he's not influencing what's going on in Paramount, then how come all of a sudden it came out the other day that Donald Trump had a conversation where he wanted to make Rush Hour 4? And quiet as it's kept, if it was 15 years ago, we would give a damn about a Rush Hour 4. But why are we thinking about, who's thinking about Rush Hour 4 in 2025 going into 2026? Like, nobody's thinking about that franchise. That franchise is dead and buried. We got what we got from it at the time. In 2026, I'm not thinking, me personally, I'll say for me, I'm not thinking about a damn Rush Hour. And this is a vanity project for Brett Ratner, who's been pretty much blacklisted from Hollywood. The only gig he can get is doing a documentary for Melania. So this is clearly a vanity project. He probably just, because it's not even that hard to butter up Donald Trump. So you can pretty much just go, I want to do a Rush Hour 4. Can you put in a good word? And because if you kiss his ass enough and you throw a little money in his direction, Donald's a prostitute. Throw a little money in his direction, he's easily bought. We clearly, if you pay attention, it's quite obvious. He's a big back, memory declining prostitute. Now, they also said, so the David Ellison is saying has previously submitted 3 bids for Warner Brothers Discovery, but the Warner Brothers Discovery board rejected his previous highest offer of $23.50 share. $23.50 share, comprising 80% of cash and 20% stock. In his previous bids, Ellison had proposed offering Warner Brothers Discovery chief David Zaslav, which I told y'all about, a co-chairman and co-CEO role for a merged Paramount Skydance Warner Brothers Discovery situation, where it's like David Zaslav would keep his position, and I guess with David Zaslav being a co-chair, we still get to keep Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi, who have definitely turned around Warner Brothers with the profits in regards of all the movies that they've had greenlit, even though people were a little nervous in the beginning of 2025 in regards of like they weren't making profit. Then when Sinners came out and all these other movies post that, up to maybe and I think it was probably other movies, but up to I would say about Weapons, Warner Brothers Discovery had a pretty good year in regards of like cinematic releases. So that's why they're pretty much happy over, I think he wants to keep them there. And we got the Batman Part 2 about to start filming next month, from what I'm hearing, which I'm excited about. And James Gunn. I know there's a lot of people out there that still want the Snyderverse to happen. Y'all need to move on. Go outside and touch some grass. I know it's raining in New York, but go touch some grass because Snyderverse is dead. It's gone. It's buried. Move on, people. You should have supported the Snyderverse back then when it was on and popping, but it wasn't making them no money. So and I didn't know, even though I wasn't overly excited for Superman. I thought it was all right, even though I saw it twice because I was maybe hoping it would get better a second time, and it didn't. And I didn't particularly care for this season's Peacemaker. I'm hoping that James Gunn can get it together in regards of what they plan on doing, him and Peter Safran, what they're doing over there with the DCU. I hope it gets better from there. But it's a first movie. I'm not gonna go too hard on them. I want to see a couple of movies before I go in. Okay, you already burned my trust with this situation. Kind of like where I am right now with the MCU, because like I've been saying post Endgame, my trust in the MCU, where things are, it's kind of like in limbo. Like I'm still a little on the fence about it. So hopefully y'all do reject the M&A offers and basically just split yourself into 2 pieces. Have Warner Brothers, led by Zaslav, as the CEO, Discovery Global, headed by current CFO Gunnar Weidenfels. Do it like that. Just split it. Don't try to sell it. Have the movie division doing this thing over here, then you got, the Discovery Global thing over here. Just split the company. I think it would be better off that way. The movie conglomerate is doing really well. We don't need other companies trying to buy up stuff. Paramount, y'all already, the Ellisons need to figure out what they're doing with Paramount before y'all want to come up here and try to buy up all this stuff, because this is nothing more than a vanity project. I know there's some people that come out here and say, well, David Ellison does movies. Well, he got a funny way of showing it, because if he loves movies, and yes, trust and believe, there have been movies that have been under the Skydance umbrella that I relatively enjoyed. They produce a lot of the Mission Impossible movies. So, and since Christopher McQuarrie came on board, for the most part, they've been pretty good. And there's been other things that come out. I like Taylor Sheridan, what he's been doing with his stuff, but he wasn't under Skydance. Now he's moving over there to, I think, Comcast. Comcast is NBC Universal, right? I think. So, I like some of the stuff that Taylor Sheridan does, but Paramount, y'all need to figure out what y'all doing before y'all try to jump in and try to swallow up another damn company. So I'm hoping that that's what happens, that they decide, you know what, we don't want to sell. We just want to split the companies and do what we do. So I definitely want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story regarding Paramount Skydance bidding on Warner Bros. Discovery, and the fact that they are trying to get that Middle Eastern money? They're trying to get some Middle Eastern partners to come in and help them come up with the money. So you all have all that money that you spent on Paramount. You don't even have the money to buy this other company. So you looking at outside sources to give you what you need to buy up another company. So you're just going to be owing these people money. I don't know. It's just weird to me. I don't like how this is moving. I was going to say, I don't even know how all this is illegal, where one company can try to buy up all these other companies. But under this administration, they don't ask for permission to do anything. They just do whatever they want, and they just think about the consequences later, or thinking they're going to be able to slither out of whatever criminalities or white collar criminalities they're doing. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. It said Omar won't let Pam near Keisha. Oh, I forgot she was married. I forgot that she was married to Omar Epps. I totally forgot about that. Thank you, thank you. Diabolica follicles. I love that name, by the way. And you said, yeah, CNN definitely is trash. I don't watch legacy media. I don't watch media and stuff like that. Like I get all my stuff from like a lot of YouTube pundits, those who actually come with information. I'm not just people that just be spewing a bunch of propaganda for stuff. If I need propaganda, I'll just watch CNN or The View or all those other shows. I did have Sonic gear. Oh, because you've seen the picture? He does look a little homosexual-esque. He looks greasy too. It's like, what are they? I'm like, what is up with all the gays where it's like y'all be looking a little shiny on camera? It's like them, Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel, when you look at his skin, it always looks like he's melting on camera. But anyway, child, let's get into it. Let's talk about Funky Dineva, the story of the hour. So yesterday I was in the middle of doing my show where I was talking about, regular live show, whatever. And when I was talking about the Tamar Braxton situation, I was like, I do wonder if Funky Dineva is even going to address this interview on his show. I didn't know if he was coming back from, to do a lot because, last week he was off a couple of days because I know he's got personal things going on in his life. He's got the stage 1 cancer. He did use it as an excuse. So he said, I got the cancer now. I don't care. Like, I love when you're in your YOLO mode, especially when technically he's not going to die because it's stage 1 now. We was about stage 4. Then it's like, okay, you got a lot to worry about. But they caught it early. He's looking at his object. He's going to have a robot probably try to get rid of his prostate, which that would scare me. Like if I actually had the PC, I don't know if I want to get the robot situation because they said you can't skeet, and then you have ED issues between me down there, and I was like, I don't know if I want to risk that. If I was in the first state, I'm like, fuck it, just give me the chemo. Let's see if we could burn this situation out of me, radiate it out of me, and then keep it going. But then you run the risk of it coming back or whatever. It's like, shout out to Dave Coulier. We found out, didn't he have non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, was able to get through that. Now he got tongue cancer. And I'm like, God damn, if it ain't one thing, it's another. And so shout out to all the people out there that can't seem to get a damn break when it comes to the Big C. So yeah, so Dineva came back officially yesterday after the whole Big C situation that he revealed on his social media. And after I got off the live, all of a sudden, because I like to open up the windows because I was like, okay, I got to put in the timestamps and all the other stuff and whatever else is on YouTube that show wise that I watched that I may have missed. Then I see this clip of that Funky immediately put up after his show was done of him going in on Tamar Braxton, which was titled Tamar Braxton, Mendeecees, and the Missing Teeth, which is an iconic headline, by the way. So he came on and started talking about the interview that she did with L'Oreal, which I kind of side-eyed because I was like, wait a minute, something in the milk ain't clean in regards to this story of you talking about that you woke up in a pool of blood or whatever the case was, like, and you didn't want to go to the hospital, and instead you decided to jump on social media and talk about waking up in a pool of blood and missing teeth and a botched nose. I mean, child, the quiet as kept, the nose was botched long before you had whatever situation happen to you. And we know she is not shy of the surgery because she did on this current season of Braxton Family or the Braxtons. She got needles shot in her ass so she could get an ass, and then she got new titties. So if you get ass and titties, ass and titties, ass titties, ass and titties, if you can get all of that done We know you're not prone from going under the anesthesia and getting a little scalpation done to your face. A whole new rearrangement. I mean, quiet as it's kept, they call her a Muppet. And maybe she's trying to change up some things about herself. Which is nothing wrong with that if you want to get, a little nipped up to make yourself feel good, whatever floats your boat. So after the whole situation of her doing the L'Oreal interview, which I want to show y'all that clip where she talked about the accident, I was confused. Because remember when we showed the video yesterday and we saw like she was hugging up on this dude and she was saying she was giving a birthday party for somebody. I was confused because I was like, wait, is it Tamar's birthday? Because I remember that Dineva said it was his birthday. But based on the decorations and everything, it didn't look like she was celebrating Dineva's birthday. I thought it was either her birthday celebration or she was celebrating that other homosexual that she was hugged up on with the blonde hair. And come to find out, now she was up there saying she was celebrating a friend's birthday, and Dineva was like, no, you was not celebrating my birthday. I didn't want to have all this other stuff going on, but you was insisting that we go out to this situation, so he went along. And remember when we showed the video, everybody was like, Dineva's face looked like he was over it. He didn't really want to be up in there kikiing and having a good time. But like I told you, a lot of us introvert extroverts, which I pretty much am, is like I'm very much an introvert in real life. But for the most part, when I'm on camera, that's when you get the full entertainment, extra energy, all that other stuff. But when the camera's off, I'm burnt out. Like I burn candles at both ends. I need a recharge. So as an introvert extrovert, it's like we don't like having to do the public like hanging out, schmoozing, all other stuff, but you do it because if you're in a place like Atlanta, which is considered Black Hollywood, you want to be up in there schmoozing, letting people know that you're around, you're alive, whatever the case is, and then you have to just entertain. So people know you outside just for that situation. And so that's what it looked like. Although Dineva's face looked like, I don't want to be up in here. I want to go home. I want to go home, like Wendy Williams would say. I just want to spill the tea. And then when I'm done, I want to go home and draw the blinds and watch my Sex in the City. So that's probably what he was feeling like at the time. So then she went and did this whole situation where she appeared on L'Oreal's show and revealed why, what had happened in the whole situation with that night of the thing where she claims it was sleepwalking. Even got some lady to come up on there and act like she was a damn doctor to corroborate her tired ass story. So let's get into the clip and then we'll come back and talk in case you need a memory refresher. Please.
Are you aware of what really happened to you?
No, I'm not.
Or can you talk about
I can talk about it, but I'm not aware of what really happened to me.
Yeah.
All I know is that I went to a friend's birthday party. I gave a friend a birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
You thought was your friend.
Well, we ain't even gonna touch on that.
Yeah.
I came home like I would normally do. Well, you kind of know the spiel. I come home, I'll take a shower, I'll wash my face, I'll come back in the kitchen. We'll have, have more.
Sidebar, I didn't catch what L'Oreal said. You thought you was slick with that. When I heard that, she was like, oh, who you thought was your friend. I caught that little slick comment that you made. But then again, and she said, we're not going to touch on it. I was like, wait a minute. So that was where Dineva went off and was like, that party wasn't for me. And then she said, the spiel. Girl, we don't live with you, so we don't know your spiel. We don't know what your routine is when you go home or whatever the case is. But anyway, let's get back into it because I probably will be stopping and starting when throughout this video.
Or cocktails.
I know how it goes.
Or have some food.
Yeah.
And congregate until everybody leaves. And the last person left. And one of my friends was just a little too intoxicated to drive, which is fine. My third bedroom is very iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of iconic, I'm starting to assume that when she said my third bedroom is very iconic, is that when you took Mendeecees and his male friend, allegedly? And we'll get into that in a minute when Funky spills that tea. But that's what had me thinking. When she said her bedroom was iconic, who was the one that was in that bedroom? Because was it Mendeecees and his friend? Because those were the ones that actually showed up at that same party that I was telling you about that we showed in the video yesterday. And they didn't want to be seen on camera because then people would have been like, okay, so why you had this situation? He's sneaking around, allegedly behind Yandy back, messing with, Tamar, allegedly.
You always like, yo, Elle, you ain't got a job.
Yeah.
You can stay right here.
Yeah, it's very iconic. So actually, me and Brian was texting each other while I was watching Real Housewives of Orange County, and I fell asleep. And when I woke up to my friend shaking me like, Tay, are you okay? Are you okay? What's going on? I'm calling I'm calling the ambulance. I was like, no, you're not.
Yeah.
No, you're not.
Yeah.
And then when I came to, it was like teeth and blood all over the place.
And you just don't remember anything.
I do not.
I do not. Scary.
I do not.
So did you look at the friend like, hey, did you do something to me?
No, that person wasn't capable. That person was mortified.
Yeah.
Mortified. Yeah.
So that's so crazy. And I'm sure you've run through your mind.
Yeah, I went to the hospital to try to figure it out because I was in excruciating pain. It was bad. And it was bad because I didn't know what happened to me. And psychologically, it was very heavy, and like my whole right side of my body, I still get numb, but my whole right side of my body was so numb. I couldn't even lay down. I couldn't even sit. I had to lay on the floor on my back. And I went through a series of tests in the hospital for 5 days. And the only thing that they can conclude it to was a sleepwalking episode.
Are you aware of?
Nope, I'm not buying it. And I know a lot of people in the comments were saying they don't buy it either. There's no way in hell that all that pain and this and the other, she was doing some damn sleepwalking. Now, I would believe it more or less if you had a seizure and you were prone to that because of stress or whatever the case is. That would be more believable because I knew my goddaughter's mother was prone to seizures. May she rest in peace. And there was a point where it was like, yeah, she would have seizures. She would fall out. She would lose all sense of her memory of what happened. And I remember one time she had one in front of me and I panicked. And I think it was because at the time she was in the house with me and we were watching, and I remember like it was yesterday, we was watching Nelly Furtado live on MTV2. And the strobe lights and everything that was going on, I didn't know about the whole, like what triggers seizures and stuff at the time. And she went and started seizing in front of me, and I'm panicking and called the ambulance and all those other stuff. And I know, like, when you're somebody who doesn't come from a lot of money, if you have an ambulance call, them ambulance bills is crazy. From what I heard is like at the time, you call an ambulance and take them to the hospital, they hit you with a $900 bill. And you already know when it comes to a lot of these companies or whatever, the insurance companies don't want to pay for it. Hence why I've been saying for a long time, hashtag free Luigi. If you know what I'm saying, and I think you do, especially with United Healthcare and what the mess they're doing over there regarding, screwing over the American people who buy into insurance. And the insurance company is supposed to be taking care of you. God forbid anything happens to you medical wise. Because if we buying into it, you're supposed to be covering the mess. So she had a seizure. I freaked out. Now she done, and this is the many things that happened. She's lost teeth. She's had been looking. So I've seen the signs with that. So I will believe that. Then I read one of the comments under Funky Dineva's video, and one of my friends sent it to me in a screenshot and was like, they think Kandi pretty much caused her bleedation of the mouth. That she woke up in a pool of blood and missing teeth because Kandi done, gave her a 1-2 pow pow in the mouth. Which I thought would be kind of funny, but apparently that's not what happened. So after that, then she got into this video about speaking about Mendeecees and the relationship rumors. So that lady, I truly believe was like, okay, Tamar, you was out here acting like cousin Faith and Soul Food. You have the inability of closing your legs to a married man, and now your tea done got spilled. Jerome Trammell said, just up there lying, Lord, with a laugh emoji. But anyway, let's get in that clip in case y'all didn't hear. We didn't play this one yesterday because I didn't care enough. But now that this tea done came out courtesy of Funky, we don't get in the Funky video. I have to, of course, set all this up till we get to the big payoff, in case for those of you who haven't been keeping up. So, I didn't care about the whole Mendeecees clip because it didn't really matter until Funky spilled this tea. So now it's worth us listening to. Please hold.
Not the only person in the world with a heartbreak, and especially with a heartbreak retrograde. And I think that when you've had a heartbreak that lasts a long time, you kind of think that something's wrong with you or you're alone. And I just wanted the people to know that this is a real situation that happens to real people every day.
Yeah.
And so that's what that was about.
And we knew it was going to be big when the trailer dropped, okay? The trailer dropped and there was a lot of controversy.
We knew it was going to be big because you were in it. Is that what happened?
I'm in it. I didn't
Yes,
even
you're in it.
realize. Oh my God. Yes, I too am in it. And there were some other surprises and other people that were in it that started causing some questions. So of course I want to ask you about it because people have been speculating things.
Okay.
So Mendeecees, he plays one of the main men. Also Julian,
Yeah.
who's in Beauty and Black. They both are your leading guys.
Yeah.
But for some reason, all anybody saw was you and Mendeecees. I'm in the film. Vince is in the film. Your mama in the film.
Yeah.
But all we saw were you and Mendeecees, or that according to the blogs, right?
Yeah.
So they started putting you two together. Do you and Mendeecees have like anything beyond this film? Or?
No, to be honest, I barely even know him.
Okay.
to be honest, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're not like, we're cool, but
Yeah.
we're not like my homie. You know what I mean? It's not like that. And he just got casted in the film, and here we are.
Were you like a little hesitant? This is the one thing I will say, how I think people might get tie it in, maybe because you're using his name in the film. Did y'all ever think about using a different name?
We use Julian.
That's a different name, though. You get what I'm trying to say?
We use L'Oreal.
I know. But Mendeecees just seems so standoutish.
Well, talk to his mama.
Child, I'm done with that. Because first of all, I'm starting to think, Lori, are you slow? Is something wrong with you, girl? Because I don't understand how you sit there. Well, you could have used a different name, and then everybody want to focus on my. First of all, don't nobody know who a goddamn L'Oreal is unless you in media. So you're not a big important name. Yeah, you do your little your media stuff and you interview celebrities and stuff, but you're not a big name. People know Mendeecees because we grew up watching Love and Hip Hop. So him and them big old TV guy. Yeah, we familiar with Mendeecees, and you messing with Yandy Man in a video where we don't know him to have any kind of acting experience. Of course, that's what people go and take from that. So I hate when people try to act all obtuse and not understand how marketing works or how to get attention regarding, when we have these type of conversations regarding bringing in celebrity or how to get people interested in wanting to watch what it is you're doing. Because one of the things we know about Tamar loves the publicity. She likes stirring the pot, which is what we're going to get into with this funky Dineva thing, because she was willing to let him be crucified by a lot of people on social media so that way she can get that endorphin fix and spewing misinformation and let him lie on that sword while she's getting all this attention on her about bringing attention to her music. Because she don't care about nobody. She'd rather be infamous than famous. Which is basically what her sister Tony said when they had that little falling out in that episode where they was getting in each other's face. She likes all that attention. And even goes back to most recently when Birdman and them had that the Cash Money versus. You dabbing, there was alleged rumors going around that you was out here getting slutted out by Birdman before Tony got with him back in the day. And you was using you dabbing the sweat off his body like that's your man. And it's like, he don't know how to he don't know how to handkerchief his face. He don't need you wiping sweat off of him. That ain't your man, allegedly. But that ain't the first time, allegedly, that Tamar has been notorious for not being able to close her legs. Maybe we need to start calling her Faith, Cousin Faith. The Faith done fucked my husband. So all of that being said, and it's funny enough, before this tea that Dineva spilled, people was in the comments not believing the fact that her and they was thinking that she lying in regards to the whole thing with Mendeecees. Because someone said, instead of her saying, girl, that's somebody else's man, I could never, we were just acting. She says, I never met the lady. I don't like the way she answered that. And yeah, that's just the same way as how people took a problem. People found it a problem when this whole situation was coming out before it blew up, how Dineva referred to Tamar as that lady. I don't know what's going on with that lady. I ain't got nothing to do with what's going on with that lady. Whatever it was that he said, y'all had a problem. But he's like, this is how we talk down in Miami. That bitch ain't from no damn Miami. She from Baltimore by way of Atlanta. So that ain't how they talk down in Baltimore. That's not how the PKs be talking. And quiet as a scale. We all know that when it comes to the PKs, y'all the biggest damn hoes. Those of us free spirits, we already know because the parents be up on y'all telling you what you can and cannot do. We know that y'all be sneaking and, sucking on the big D's or whatever in the behind the bleachers and all that other mess. Oh, please. I knew all the tea regarding the church queens and the PKs. They was the biggest hoes going around sleeping with the pastor, the deacon, the maintenance man, or as Jack Hay would say, any man. So without further ado, let's get into this video with Dineva, because he was like, what you not going to do is up in here use me for clout instead of being say that you was giving a party for me and I'm your friend or whatever the case was, when that's not what happened. So let's hope and pray that when we get to this video, there won't be no interruptions with the ads, because YouTube, y'all be getting on my root canal over these damn ads. But if it do happen, we'll just have to work through it in case y'all didn't watch it. So now that I've set everything up, let's get into what Dineva has to say, and we'll come back and talk. Please hold.
That I'm still up in the air about how I'm going to respond to Tamar, okay? But Tamar recently did an interview with L'Oreal, and I don't know, she just did something I didn't like. Take a look.
Are you aware of what really happened to you?
No, I'm not.
Or can you talk about
I can talk about it, but I'm not aware of what really happened to me.
Yeah.
All I know is that I went to a friend's birthday party. I gave a friend a birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
You thought was your friend.
Well, we ain't even gonna touch on that.
Yeah.
I came home like I would normally do. Well, you kind of know the spiel. I come home, I'll take a shower, I'll wash my face, I'll come back in the kitchen. We'll have, have more.
Okay, so the rest of the interview is irrelevant. Tamar, I'm gonna speak to you directly.
Small business owners across the country are using Amazon.
I never wanted what transpired between me and you to transpire. I didn't. In this moment, it's still not something that I'm very proud of. And I honestly wish that I could go back a couple months and we could be in the place that we were before this happened. But what I can't tolerate is the sly shade, the sly messiness, and this thing that you do. You do just enough. You do just enough that when somebody calls you on it, then you can dip your hands back and be like, I didn't do nothing. What? I didn't do nothing. I didn't say the person's name. Okay, you started out with...
Are you aware of what really happened to you?
No, I'm not.
Or can you talk about it?
I can talk about it, but I'm not aware of what really happened to me.
Yeah.
All I know is that I went to a friend's birthday party. I gave a friend a birthday party.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I don't like that. I don't like that at all, because I'm telling you to your damn face, you was a bold-faced, bald-headed, goddamn liar. Okay? That night was never about me. You and Zoe and all the rest of them, y'all was looking for something to eat. Y'all called me and was asking me what was there to eat up in my direction. I said everything up my way closed. I was like, we could always go to Roof Chris. Y'all said, fuck it, meet me at Roof Chris. I met y'all at Roof Chris, you and Zoe. In comes walking Mendeecees and his homeboy, okay? Now, this is the third time that me and you have been hanging out, and out of nowhere, here comes Mendeecees, okay? Now, you can make of that whatever the hell you want to make of it, okay? I was tired. I wanted to go home. Y'all said we going over here to Sauce in Buckhead. Meet us at Sauce. I said, y'all, I really don't want to go. I drive my car over to Sauce. By the time I get to Sauce, Zoe calls and says, Tamar said, just leave your car at her house and we're going to go to V12. I didn't even want to go. You didn't throw me no party, love. Why are you doing this? Why is it so important for you to create this narrative like you were doing something for a friend and a friend did you so wrong. Okay? So now you and Mendeecees sneaking and dealing around. Mendeecees was behind us at the V12. Okay? He just didn't want to walk in, or they had arranged it because he didn't want to be caught up all in the mix. If you were throwing Quentin a party, Tamar, the sign would have said Quentin. The sign would have said Funky Dineva on it. Okay? Now, in fairness, it was my birthday week, and maybe in your mind, you were saying, let's go out and continue to hang for your birthday, or it's your birthday, let's hang. But to create this narrative that you went to throw a birthday party for a friend and this friend did you so wrong, that's not right, Tamar, and it's not fair to me, and my feelings are hurt behind it. My feelings are really hurt behind you trying to create this narrative. And here is what the situation is, my love. For whatever reason, you being Tamar Braxton that you are, you like running to the internet and stirring up mess and confusion and drama. It's what you like. There is no real world where anybody busts out the front of their damn mouth and then start talking about they woke up in a pool of blood and they almost died. I did not play it in this interview, but at the time in which you went to the internet, you said you woke up in a pool of blood and almost died. In this interview with L'Oreal, you mentioned that you were home with David or somebody, and they said, we need to call an ambulance. And you were like, no, we're not calling no ambulance, which suggests to me that you did not almost die. Okay. But now, since you want to be like this, let's be like this. Part of the problem with this whole thing was, Tamar, is that I was never comfortable with the relationship that you and Mendeecees had in front of me. Okay. All of that, you at the music video shoot in your booty shorts, sitting on top of him meeting us up at restaurants every time. Let's tell it all. So since you were throwing a party for a friend's birthday party, do y'all want to know why I did not get out the car and go upstairs with Tamar when we got back to her house? Because after her and Mendeecees got through kissing in the back of that goddamn car, I figured they wanted to be up there privately. That is why when we got dropped off at Tamar's house, I did not go upstairs. I got in my damn car and went home because you was sitting on his lap in that goddamn Uber and y'all ass was kissing. Okay. And the shit made me damn uncomfortable. Okay. Now, if anybody know who happened and what happened to your damn teeth, it's Mendeecees and his best friend, because they was the ones who went upstairs with you. Now, I don't know whether they was fucking your ass from the back and ran your head through the headboard or what, okay? But if anybody need to be investigated on what happened to you in your damn teeth, it need to be Mendeecees and his friend, because that's who went upstairs with you. That's who went upstairs with you. Okay? All the phone calls I got at the V12, is Tamar drunk? Why is she sitting on Mendeecees' lap like this? Why is she sitting on Mendeecees' lap? And see, here's the thing. I hate that I even chose to go this route because it follows the narrative of, oh, he just a messy sissy who couldn't wait to get Mad Day to tell her business, keep the messy punks from around you. Like, it would seem to me, Tamar, if you knew that I was holding on to all of this, that you would just leave me the fuck alone.
This Black Friday gift cleans your retainer at the touch of a button. No more brushing or tablets. Over 4 years ago,
Baby, you didn't throw no party for me. If anything, you threw a pre-party for Mendeecees. Because he the one who went back upstairs with you. That lady husband. And see, y'all be around here in these blogs and shit thinking y'all be knowing what y'all be talking about. Folks be eating me up. And I just be sitting there. If only y'all knew. If only y'all knew. He's such a bad friend. He's such a bad friend. If she was drunk, why he didn't go upstairs with her? That faggot just want to be around her. He just want to be around her because of XYZ. A real friend would have went upstairs with her. I didn't need to go upstairs with her because that lady husband went upstairs with her. You absolutely right. A real friend would have went upstairs. Her real friend went upstairs with her. Hold on one second. This is my auntie nursing home. Without their permission. To go around and create and the whole issue, Tamar, about the whole thing was the fact that you don't get to go around and create media shitstorms that involve other people without their permission. That whole, my teeth fell out, and I don't know what happened. Tamar, like, sis. And then you had that Spanish lady make that video down in Miami lying. There is nobody who had the amount of mouth trauma that you had that healed that quickly. You know what happened when it's time to be messy. You know what happened when it's time to be mean. You know what happened when it's time to hide the fact that you was messing with Yandy's husband. You know what happened when it's time for y'all to sneak in and out of places at different times to not be caught with people, but you don't know what happened in your own damn house while that man was up there with you. Now you don't know what happened. So with that being said, now I give everybody permission to now paint me as the messy faggot. I'll be that. I will be the messy faggot that everybody should stay away from on Get Mad Day because he gonna tell all your business. I had been told this lady to leave me alone. But you not finna sit your triple face ass up there on L'Oreal's podcast and pretend like, oh, you just had a friend that just did you so wrong. You were just done so wrong. Because if anything, I was the one that was the collateral damage in your bullshit. Them people sat up there and called me every damn thing under the sun, made me a part of every conspiracy under the sun, while your ass was sitting back somewhere enjoying all of the media bliss about it because you like it. All you had to simply do was put y'all leave Funky alone, me and Funky cool. You didn't even want to do that. Then when you went and did it, you took it down the next day. Like, and granted, there is a world where people can say, well, Q, you know, I get it. Some people did not know until I addressed it. But for the record, she went out and said she almost died. I had 7,000 people waiting in the doggone thing because they knew we were together the night before and they were just waiting for me to tell what happened. And I said, I don't know what happened to the lady. I said, baby, I went home. That lady went upstairs. I went home. I don't know what happened to that lady. Now, I understand that in the wake of some people not knowing who I am and not knowing how we speak in Miami, coupled with the fact that Tamar got on the internet and pretended like she almost died, I get the outrage. People are like, How is he referring to her so dismissively as that lady or whatever? And what y'all don't know, what you know now is the reason why I was referring to her so dismissively is because I knew deep down in my soul hadn't shit happened to her ass. Had nothing happened to her ass. It would seem to me, before you get on the internet and try to tell people you almost died, that you would have called Olivia Benson from Law & Order to figure out what happened to your ass. We months down the line, you don't start a whole media shitstorm and you still talking about you don't know what happened to your ass? And you didn't think to maybe figure out what happened to your ass before you ran on the internet? I told you a long time ago, I'm not them. I'm not your support staff. I'm not none of them broke sissies that be around you for clout, that need you for money, that need you to pay the tab. I don't need nothing from you and never needed anything from you. I was your friend genuinely. And I'm still hurt by all of this. I'm still hurt by all of this because I don't like how you trying to flip it and make it seem like I did you wrong.
All right, so I feel like we got enough. Y'all got enough of the video and all the other stuff. So it's like, yeah, he feels hurt. I feel like I don't feel no ways tired about him trying to spill tea or whatever the case is. And this is what I be telling y'all. Y'all really need to stop. I don't know if there was like a genuine friendship on her end. I think maybe Tamar's so used to paying for people or buying friendships or having clout chasers around her. And then when you get a real genuine friend, which is like how I am with a lot of people, I come to you as I am. I am through and through authentically me. I don't give a good goddamn whether you like me or not. So I'm not going to come at you with no fake shit trying to be like, I need some of you, because I don't. Right? And Dineva make enough money from YouTube and all his other little side endeavors that he don't need Tamar. He don't need all these other celebrities out here. He's still gonna make his coin regardless. And trust and believe, Christmas came early with this video because he's getting the little surgery. He's gonna be out for a week. So hopefully this video, the one that said, the live and the separate video that I just showed y'all, will keep him financially set for the month, because he's going to be having to deal with, the recovery of him getting the surgery from, the pancreatic cancer situation. So I think that when you around a lot of certain, this is why I say I just spill the tea, close the blinds, close the laptop, shut everything down, and I go about my business. I don't sit and invest in these people's stuff all day. Although it's like, yeah, but when it's time for me to get to work and come here with the tea and all the information and all the other stuff, and I have to do the research, that's when I'm in work mode. But after that, I go about living my life. You can't sit here and invest in all this stuff. And to me, Tamar likes all this attention. She likes all the drama. She likes the fact that, the endorphins start spewing up because of whatever stuff is going on. And the sad part is, you were willing to screw over, and this ain't the first time she's done this. She's done this to people before. That we said in the past, Donnie was another one. This is why it's like, you really can't be out here trusting these celebrities, because I remember Armand Wiggins went through something when it came to like trusting people, and they basically used him. Now you got Dineva's had dealt with this multiple times where you trust the wrong people and they turn out to be using it. We've heard this song so many times. It was like when he went through with TGIF, then he had the stuff with Trashy K, then he had the thing with Tamar. So it's like when you start trusting in all these people, this is why I was like, I spill my business. I mean, spill y'all business, sorry. I give my opinion on the stuff that's going on. Once I'm done, I go about my day. You can't sit here in here and invest in these things. And this is why I don't trust a lot of these celebrities as far as I can throw them. Because when you've been working in spaces of understanding marketing and how this other stuff is, I don't trust none of these people as far as I can throw them. And I know Dineva wants to genuinely have friendships with these people. Stick to the people that you have that are your friends, like Miss Kenny and all of them. Those are your real friends, not these fake ass celebrities who get so caught up in the celebrity dumb of it all, that they willing to ruin a friendship because you trying to promote some tight ass EP. that I'm sure the Tamartians are living for. But girl, is it worth it? Is it worth ruining a friendship over your chitlin circuit type of music? I guess it is. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story and what Dineva had to say in regard to this whole situation? It seemed like a lot of people didn't believe them. One person said, nobody said, you got to be the dumbest fucking person I've ever seen. Like when I'm reading the Morning Hustle show, somebody said, but nobody said anything about Kandi doing the same thing. LOL, selective outrage. Mendeecees literally has a post on his page of Kandi tonguing down a dude in a film she has on Tubi. Y'all do know that's acting. However, with Dineva saying, oh, she was acting, but after the cameras and shit was off, oh, she was still feeling her oats and trying to climb up on that man. And she said it in the thing, if y'all was really paying attention, that she was out here drinking. She was like, I will go home and I will have a cocktail. She even admitted this on the Braxton this season, that because of the stress she was dealing with her anxiety, whatever the case is, that she called her mental situation that she got going on, because she blamed it on her sisters. I'm like, girl, we're not going to all blame it on the family. I mean, the family probably is the reason why you are a mess, but you probably you like all that attention and all that other stuff too. Probably because you're the youngest, you wasn't really getting all attention from the family, so you find other ways to get it. But anyway, so with all the other stuff, it just seems to me like you admitted that you like a cocktail, so you was partying when you was out. You got home, you was partying. You probably blacked out. And when you black out drink, you ain't gonna remember what you was doing. I said that yesterday. So, including climbing on somebody else's husband because you want to get your and it says she's celibate. But you must have broke your celibacy around that time you was allegedly cheating. So you were out here climbing the backs of married men. But then again, I can't necessarily blame her because she's single. Nobody put a gun to Mendeecees' head and told him to cheat. That was a decision he decided to make. So I definitely want to hear from y'all regarding this whole situation. So far, all I know is Tamar has not addressed this. I know Donnie was probably live right now with the latest with his new episode. So who knows what he's saying over there? I'll probably have to find out when I'm done with this show. But he has the right to defend himself. And if people feeling like he's a messy, rhymes with maggot, because that's what he said. I can't be using that F word one too many times in this segment. They'll probably demonetize me. You have a right to be messy. Defend yourself. If she has every right to be messy in situations and willing to forego a friendship at my expense, and have people out here making assumptions and coming at me in the comments, but you don't even know my situation, what I'm doing. Oh, I have every right to be out here, and it's like, if you're going to lie on me, then I'm going to tell the truth. And I don't give a good goddamn who gets hurt in the mess. They'll have to clean up the mess that I made. Well, technically, you made the mess. You started it. I'm going to finish it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, so now let's see what the people are saying in the comments. Chemo is no joke. Trust I did. Yeah, well, shout out to you, and I'm glad you're here with us. I had no idea that you had undergone any cancer smancer type stuff. Happy Tuesday. That's from Daniel Burruss. How you doing? This is messy, but honestly, I don't feel bad for neither Funky or Tamar. They are both messy queens, and then being friends was a disaster waiting to happen. I don't know. How's Funky? Well, I live for the shenanigans, so I love a mess. I mean, I can be messy at times too. Both are getting a taste of their own medicine and are a reflection of the dark side between the fakeness between gay men and women. Which is why I kind of stay away from that dynamic of, the gay men hanging out with women and women using gay men as nothing more than accessories, especially in Atlanta. Oh, you said Dineva is being truthful. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was saying, who's Dineva? I've never been one of those people that believe any press is good press. Sadly, Tamar seems to be a believer, so much so she causes problems for herself and too many people around. Exactly, because at one point you got to look at you and be like, in the words of Cardi B, Am I the drama? Yes, no. You are. You are the drama, because why is it that every time there's drama, you are in the middle of it? If it's not your sisters, if it's not with Kate Michelle, and we've talked about on the show the list of people that Tamar apparently got problems with. Oh, it's not me. Oh, it's not this. It's not. It's like, girl, like, it's when you are the person who cried wolf so many times, it falls on deaf ears. And we look at you, it's like, yeah, you the problem. And sometimes you got to take responsibility for what you do. Just like when they had that season finale and her and Trina and Tony were sitting at the table because Tawana was on her honeymoon. It's because she had to remind us every 5 minutes in the show that she's getting married. I'm engaged. I'm getting married. I was like, bitch, we know. You ain't got to keep telling us. We could clearly see that you're getting married. You know, it was just, child, I forgot my train of thought. Let's move on. I'm tired of Tamar. Excuse me, and her mess. But anyway, let's move on from Tamar. And let's talk about her good Judy, Kandi Burruss. So yesterday we talked a bit about Kandi and Todd, because, it's still fresh that they're, getting a divorce and all that good stuff. And I even said at one point, because I totally forgot to bring this up, but Kandi, there was a thing that was footage from, like, I don't know if it was reality, it was the Real Housewives, or it was a wedding special. I can't remember. Bravo be given so many different iterations of shows. I can't remember which show was which and where the information came from. But I do remember that there was a moment where Kandi was getting married, and you already know Mama Joyce is probably seething and happy and just doing the church lady dance over the fact that Kandi and Todd is parting ways. And we talked about the prenup, that he's trying to contest the prenup. He wants to get primary custody of the children because Kandi clearly is the breadwinner. We already talked a bit about yesterday how men having problems switching that role, because men were always the ones that would bring home the bacon. They were the providers. The woman would stay at home and all this other stuff. And we see that clearly Kandi has been the one, even though Todd didn't have his things going, we all knew that Kandi was the one that had the money and the success and bringing home the bacon and doing other stuff. He was Mr. Bomb for the most part. And Kandi travels a lot. She's also going to be traveling, because I know she's doing Anne Juliet in New York on Broadway. I can't remember for how long, but I know she's doing the show. But anyway, so he was talking about that, how he was forced to sign the prenup. But then people was bringing up footage from the show and was saying, your attorney advised you not to sign the prenup. They were saying you should have done, because she did say, well, if you don't sign the prenup, we're not getting married. Well, I would have been like, well, I guess we're going to have to postpone this wedding until I can have my attorney look over this prenup, dot all the I's, cross all the T's, make sure that we're on the same page with everything before I sign my signature on anything. Once you sign it, it's set in stone. So I don't think he has a chance of getting what he wants and having this prenup contested. Now that I was saying, like, and then I was thinking about that, I was like, well, yeah, speaking of them talking about that this was footage that they found from the old episode, I was like, you know what? If she really want to go in and let it happen, I'm sorry, this is just business. That's what marriage is at the end of the day. It's a business arrangement. Like, there's reasons why there's contracts and everything in place. Yeah, they talk about the lovey-dovey, happily ever after. All of that is cute. It's all Disney-fied. Yeah, we like all the wonderful world of Disney textbook explanation of what a marriage is, but a marriage is a business. Otherwise, we wouldn't need to have contracts in place. So she went, and now they're saying that she's going to be using a lot of the reality show stuff as collateral for the marriage in that situation in regards of the whole divorce, which I'm like, smart on her part. But we know the one thing about Kandi is she's about her business. So Burruss filed an amended divorce petition on Monday, December 1st, addressing Tucker's allegations. Todd Tucker, I don't know why they keep with this Tucker mess. Allegations that he was asked to sign their 2014 prenup without his lawyer present. She said that he was represented by a high-powered attorney before the marriage and disputed his claim that the prenup was not enforceable due to the lack of legal representation. Quote, the parties' journey to executing an enforceable prenuptial agreement was filmed and broadcast on Bravo Television Network with the knowledge and consent of both Burruss and Tucker for their 5-part reality television wedding documentary entitled Kandi's wedding that premiered on June 1st, 2014. Okay, so now I'm glad y'all reminded me. But I was like, what was it? It was a special. Burruss's lawyer also noted that in the doc, Tucker audibly announced that he was good to sign the prenup during a private encounter with Burruss and after talking to his lawyer on and off camera. As Us First reported, Tucker alleged in court that he was given the prenup before the April 14th or 2014, wedding, but his lawyer was not present when he was given the final draft. Quote, despite that knowledge, Burruss's counsel presented the final agreement to Tucker for signature immediately before the wedding ceremony without any notice to or consultation with Tucker's team, who had been significantly engaged in the negotiation process, Tucker's filing alleged. Tucker, who asked for sole primary custody, also asked for alimony if the court rules the prenup not enforceable. Oh, after this, it's definitely going to be enforceable. And I said that yesterday. I truly believe that it's going to be it's not going to be enforced. Well, it's not enforceable. And it's like you're not going to be able to change what was written in the prenup. He also claimed, because remember, to remind you, on November 26th, he filed documents claiming that Burruss's work will require her to be away from the kids for several months. He said he hoped to work out a custody deal with Burruss, but if not, he wanted the court to award him primary custody with Burruss having visitation. Well, yeah, there's that, because it's like she's the breadwinner. He's going to be there more than her, and he feels like, oh, well, it'll be like a Kevin Federline, Britney Spears situation, where it's like, I'll be at home taking care of the kids, and you'll basically be paying me a stipend to take care of our two children. And that'll be good money coming in until both kids turn 18. So it'll be a while. But hopefully he'll, unlike Kevin Federline, he'll be smarter with how he works out the money situation. Now, in her filing, her lawyer noted that both Burruss and Tucker are public figures and self-employed entrepreneurs. She said she had paid for the children's nanny whenever they had to travel for work. Burruss said that she was not the only parent to have to travel. Her lawyer noted both Burruss and Tucker have held professional obligations that have required each party to travel away from the home for extended periods of time, independently and jointly, prior to and after the births of both of the minor children. The Real Housewives of Atlanta alum added that on top of the nanny, their children have a diverse and concentrated family support network, which includes maternal grandparents, aunts, uncles, and cousins within a 5 to 20 mile radius of the family residence. Now, in her paperwork, Burruss listed the date of marriage as April 2014 and the date of separation as July 15th, 2025. So they've been separated since July of this year. And 4 months later, she decided to file, because it was November, she decided to file for divorce. So y'all were separated, we didn't even know it. Y'all talk about putting on a united front. So yeah, I just feel like at the end of the day, this is a waste of time. Todd, good luck. I mean, if anything, I do feel like you're going to have to prove like you was the one that was always at home watching the children, and Kandi was the one that was mostly traveling. But y'all was doing gigs together. Like you was producing things, y'all were producing things together and separate. And you do a lot of traveling too. So you're gonna have to prove that you're willing to give up whatever. And since Kandi, we do know is the bigger name, has probably more money. Because I'm sure she got her little bank account where it's her FU money on the side. Whereas you have the joint account and then you have your little separate accounts. So I'm sure that Kandi do have her coins. But we'll just have to see if you'll be able to get what you're going to get. But I just highly doubt that you got a case with this situation. Kind of like John Murray don't have a case where he's trying to get money out of his former bestie, Sherry Shepherd. So that's not what I wanted to hit. I want to take that out. So I feel this is like, what do you guys think of this latest story regarding Kandi Burruss? I totally believed in the beginning that I was like, yeah, I knew that because y'all did a reality show together, a lot of what's going to be used in the court cases regarding this divorce, they could use a lot of the reality TV footage to prove like you were not strong-armed into filling out, the prenup against your will. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's get into our next topic. And let's talk about Jada Pinkett Smith. So apparently a former friend of Will's who clearly don't know how to keep his damn mouth closed is spilling tea. Not only is he spilling tea, but he's suing Jada, saying that she threatened him because she's been out here, he's been out here, sorry, telling all of their personal business, particularly Will's business. So Jada apparently is being sued for $3 million by a former associate who claims she physically threatened him in 2021. Now, in the lawsuit filed on November 7th, why are we just now hearing about it in December 2nd? Boulet Salam, who refers himself as Will's best friend for nearly 40 years, claims Jada confronted him at Will's birthday party on September 25th, 2021, held at the Regency Calabasas Common, saying, quote, while in the lobby, Jada Pinkett Smith, approached plaintiff with approximately 7 members of her entourage, became verbally aggressive, and threatened plaintiff by stating that if he continued telling her personal business, he would end up missing or catch a bullet, and demanding he sign a NDA or else. This is according to page 6, who obtained the lawsuit information. Salam alleges that an associate of Jada then followed him to his car and continued making verbal threats against him. Now, in the lawsuit, he claims a retaliatory campaign was later launched against him after he refused to help with crisis management following Will putting hands on Chris Rock at the 2022 Oscars. Salam claims he refused to perform tasks he believed were illegal, unethical, or morally compromising. Salam is also suing Jada for intentional infliction of emotional distress because she denied to TMZ that she had ever seen Will engage in any sexual or intimate behavior with men. Saying this was a false denial, as plaintiff had already released a viral video showing Will Smith groping Alfonso Ribeiro, including his dingling, nipples, and buttocks in front of defendant and her children who were visibly present, according to the lawsuit. Now, Ribeiro, by the way, has never commented on the claims. Salam claims that in the lawsuit that Jada's false denial was a deliberate effort to discredit him and imply that his prior statements about Will were inaccurate, delusional, or fabricated, causing several public ridicule and loss of credibility. Now, more allegations include that he was threatened by a manager on behalf of Jada to work something out and to end this feud before you get physically hurt in regards to a memoir he was planning to release. Salam claims his reputation was destroyed, his health deteriorated, and he suffers financial loss and emotional trauma as a result of Jada's alleged malicious, intentional, or reckless. Okay, now this is, I can't. This has got to be the funniest mess I've ever heard. Like, you literally was out here clout chasing, spilling all these people's tea like a big back Rona Barrett. And now you talking about emotional distress. Oh, I would have probably did the same thing if you was out here telling my damn business. It's like, you're supposed to be an associate of a friend of mine, but you're pretty much a hater. And now you're out here saying that that Will was engaging in homosexual acts and groping up on Carlton and doing all kinds of other mess. And you out here trying to sell a book. I mean, there might be some truth to that because we've been notorious for saying like the Pinkett Smiths a little weird. They're out there where the buses don't run, them and them children. But that's their business. And if they're not out here wanting to have the certainty to be out here spilled, why are you out here spilling it? And my thing is this: Will and Jada, as high profile as y'all are, y'all should have had anybody that's in your circle signing NDAs. Especially how Will Smith is a huge movie star and rapper, and she was a big star in her own right, even though I do feel like at times Jada Pinkett, before she got with Will, I feel like her career did take a backseat a bit. I mean, we know her from Demon Knight and Jason's Lyric and The Matrix Reloading Revolutions and so many other things. And she's had those high pro and I was gonna say Soulful, Set It Off, and so many other movies. Also, what they got, what's the movie with Tiffany Haddish and Queen Latifah? They're supposed to be making a sequel of because well, Tiffany Haddish keeps saying they're gonna make a sequel. We haven't heard whether or not they're gonna make one. Girls Trip. Like, we know her from a lot of iconic movies. And Hawthorne. I used to like that show. I've been following Jada's career ever since A Different World. So her career, I do feel like took a backseat for the most part because Will was the biggest star and all that other mess. But yeah, if you're gonna be some type of high profile A-lister and you know where all the bodies is buried, you got a lot of secrets, you should have everybody, your parents, your siblings, everybody signing NDAs. And the minute I find out my tea's been spilled by you and you trying to make a profit, oh, there will be a lawsuit. And in a way, is it wrong for me to say I don't feel no ways tired about him getting threatened because you out here saying all this mess? So I don't feel any ways tired about the whole situation because it was like, yeah, this is not the first time, I should say, that he's made accusations against Will. In November 2023, Will's rep denied Salam's claims that he caught Will hunching Dwayne Martin. I almost said Dwayne Johnson. No, he ain't do the rock. He did Tisha Campbell, ex-husband, according to the story. But there's always been notorious stories about Will and Dwayne out here in these streets. Is it true? Those. I wouldn't be surprised because sometimes, look, I have looked at Will and I've looked at Dwayne and certain things, and I be catching the little feminisms that be coming out every now and again. So I'm like, I would not be surprised, especially you don't make it in these places in big old Hollywood without having to bend over and touch your toes for a little career boost. So I say all of this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you believe this guy's accusations regarding Jada Pinkett? And do you believe the accusation that he's coming out regarding the tea that he was trying to spill on the family and Will, particularly his homosexual tendencies, and this book that he was trying to come out with, which, of course, if anything, if you're going to try to come out with an unauthorized book, yeah, I'm putting a stop to it. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Jada married the Top, but acts like she wasn't. She definitely gives Top energy. That bald head, she definitely looks like she straps it on. Get the strap. As soon as I saw the pic, I thought that was the same guy who was interviewed by. Well, he probably is him because Trashy K Messy. She like all that attention and all that other mess. Like she most recently interviewed. What's that old Todd rhymes with maggot name? The one that be out here outing straight men. Child, you're gonna end up out in the wrong one, and you're gonna end up in a ditch somewhere. The one that and he definitely, for the looks of it, he look like he don't get no ass. Well, dick, because you give me bottom energy. And the one that recently revealed that he said that Vince Tamar X was out here, that he's gay, and he was whining and dining him and all other stuff. Didn't say anything sexual happened, but he said that he was basically buying him things. And he said, I said then he made himself question about going to bad rep having Cardi B owing Tasha. Exactly. Nobody believes anything coming out. Like Trashy K, she's so tired. Like nobody goes to her and actually, well, I don't believe the mess that come out of her mouth. But if you like it, I love it. Usually. All right, y'all. So now let's move on to our next topic. And let's talk about Simon Cowell. So y'all already know Simon Cowell. He's a legend within the music industry. He recently did an interview because he has a new music competition show coming out. We'll get into that in a second. What's it called? Simon Cowell, The Next Act, which is basically a show where it's a documentary of him forming a boy band or whatever the case is. So yeah, he's got that coming. And he recently spoke out in regards of his time on American Idol. And he basically was saying, like, with him being older and him having a kid and all this other stuff, he's matured a bit. And don't hold him, against how he used to be back in the day. He's a changed man. He's evolved. He's no longer the messy Simon that we grew up loving on the American Idol days from 2002 to 2010. So around that time, he definitely instilled fear in wannabe music stars with his blunt commentary. And he says that he doesn't blame anyone for hating him, but he has a reason why he was a dick on the show. He said, I wasn't trying to be a dick on purpose. This is what he told New York Times in a recent interview. All I wanted with these shows was to find successful artists assigned to the label. So when all these people were coming in and they couldn't sing, we would say after 10 seconds, you can't sing, not you're going to be brilliant. But at some point, even Cowell felt he crossed the line. He said, I didn't realize I'd probably gone too far. I didn't particularly like audition days because they're long and boring. I would get fed up. And of course, out of 100 nice comments, what are they going to use? They're always going to use me in a bad mood. I got that. What can I say? I'm sorry. And to me, I just feel like, yeah, he was a bit flippant with it, but I totally understand why he was saying it. It's like typical British situation where it's just like, what can I say? I'm sorry. It happened. It was what it was. Like, I was just frustrated because when I'm doing a show and you spending long hours, people coming in and out of a room, and of course, you know, with producers have to produce. So they're going to bombard you with a lot of people that sound like Richard Hung, she bang, or whatever, like something sound like a goat being strangled. And I'm going to be up in there giggling, or I'm going to come up with some stupid phrase. And I'm sure that, Simon, you lean a lot into that too, because you knew, like, as the season progressed, that the fandom liked when you would go in and read people over the fact that they couldn't sing. So you was even coming up with little terminologies and phrases and things. So I'm sure you was enjoying the fact that you were making people's life a living hell. But what people also need to understand, because I hate the fact that people were jumping on Simon over, oh, he was mean and he was that. I'm like, sir, first of all, and I've said this I said this years ago, and I say it today. If you can't develop a thick skin after dealing with a Simon Cowell, then you're not ready for this industry, because you really have to have a thick skin in order to survive in this industry. Why you be feeling like when these trolls come up with these comments, I don't feel no waist tied? Like, I be cussing them out and blocking them. Y'all can't penetrate this. So just understand that you have to, if you're going to come in a space of entertainment where you're exposing yourself and you're putting yourself on camera, you're laying it all on the line, you have to have a thick skin. You can't come in, oh, I'm so sensitive. Oh, they're saying something that hurt my feelings. Let me go find a cliff and jump. Oh, where? Not here. You can suck my ass, the shit on my ass on the back. The thick skin, that's where all of that got to come in. So you can't let all that get to you. So yeah, if you can't deal with the Simon Cowells of the world, then you're not ready for this industry. It's like this new generation, they be wanting people to coddle them and baby them and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, he was getting all that stuff. And everybody had their roles. Like, Simon was there to be the shady one, the shady exec. Excuse me. And then you had Paula, who was the washed up pop star. And yes, she was. So let's call it what it is. I love Paula Abdul, but at the time when she was on the show, her career was washed. So she was the washed up pop star who got a rejuvenation on her, a resurgence of her career. And rejuvenate. We can rejuvenate it and we can resurge it. Flip it and reverse it. So it was like, yeah, she got a revival of her career through the reality TV competition type situation. And she was the word of encouragement, because she's been on the stage, she performed, she understands what that is. So she can provide you with that. And Randy was Randy. Randy was just there, being Randy Jackson. So I totally understand where he was coming from with that, but he said that, yeah, he apologized, he said, for just being a dick. Now, the audition days were when the idol cameras caught Cowell, for instance, eviscerating William Hung. Damn, I didn't even read this article, and I was just thinking about William Hung, and there they got it in here. Eviscerating William Hung's viral performance of She Bangs in 2004. As a refresher, he said everything about it was grotesque, which caused Paula and Randy to admonish their fellow judge. Looking back on his days as that guy, Cowell said that he's not proud of it. Let's put it that way. When I hear about these clips, I'm like, oh God. But then again, the upside is that it made the show really popular worldwide. Yeah, because we live, you know, we like drama, we like mess, we like all that stuff. So yeah, of course, when you come in with that, that's why I said he leaned into that. He knew that because the audition days and the bad singers would come in, that's when you kind of gotta like, okay, now I gotta give the people what they want. And so I gotta come in and add a little extra finesse on the shade. A little extra icing on the cake. So he also, as y'all know, he judges shows like The X Factor and America's Got Talent, where he most recently sat alongside Mel B, Howie Mandel, and Sofia Vergara. And of course, recently it goes to show that, yeah, Simon has mellowed out a bit, because I remember like he got on Mel B for this comment that she made towards this Spanish singing artist. I think he does reggaeton or whatever. But he was up there performing, and she said something about, "Oh, don't forget where you came from, because when you go up, you gotta come down, you gotta humble yourself," or something or another. She was saying she was just giving regular advice, and people were like, "What the hell are you talking about? Like, you making it seem like he treats people like crap behind the scenes." And then Simon came to his defense, was like, "I am not, me watching how this kid is developed on the show. What you talking about? I ain't witnessed that." So Simon has matured. He's evolved a bit. He look a little crazy. He looks a little embalmed in this picture. He looks like he got some embalming fluid put up in that body, because you look a little weird here. But Simon has evolved. He's changed, so he says. He does have an 11-year-old son named Eric, who he shares with. How you still a fiance to somebody? You got a kid and you ain't married the lady yet? He's still with Lauren Silverman and stepfather to Silverman's 19-year-old son. He also acknowledges that he's changed over time. And now the reality star, as I said before, will be next seen in Simon Cowell, The Next Act, which documents him forming a boy band, and it premieres next week on December 10th. That's a Wednesday on Netflix. So I want to hear from y'all. What do you guys think of this story? I totally understand where Simon was coming from, but people have to realize the times of like the 2000s and where we was with all of that. Like the way American Idol was, with it being must-see TV. And what the hell is... my calendar keeps popping up on my watch. But anyway, we gotta realize from like 2002 to 2010, reality TV was messy. And it wasn't just there, it was America's Next Top Model, it was a bunch of shows. And I see a lot of people, I just hope that a lot of people aren't trying to incorporate the 2026 stuff into what was going on at those times. This is before the internet was as crazy as it is today. And I do agree. I think he actually said this in a recent interview, that a lot of people were much happier pre-internet, pre-social media. And I do agree with that. It was like, before social media became what it was, maybe we have the assumption that people were a lot happier because we didn't have to interact with a lot of people, so we didn't know what was going on in the world and in other people's households and all that stuff. So there might be a bit of truth to that. But if you know how to use social media for good instead of evil all the time, then I don't really feel that way. I find the balance in both, in having a life outside of the internet and then using the matrix for semantics. So I definitely want to hear from you in regards of this whole Simon Cowell story. So let me know what your thoughts are on it in the comments down below. Simon Metro Phila Cowell. Randy was just there being Randy. Oh, you caught the shade? He said Randy was just there being Randy. Yeah, he was an absolute dick, but Simon told no lies with some of those contestants, except Jennifer Hudson can't sing the... Jennifer Hudson? Not you over here screaming. Talking about Screamer for Hudson. Wait, he said Jennifer Hudson couldn't sing? Because I was like, wait a minute, Screamer for was on the show. First of all, I was so mad when it was her and Fantasia. And who was the other girl that was all up for elimination and Screamer for went home? Oh, bitch, I was tight. Simon girl group would be more fun. Yeah, Skydance is kept. I'd rather him put a girl group together, like a newer, like a 2026 equivalent of Girls Aloud. Like if you were to give me something like that, well, I'd be a lot happier regarding that. But I'm confused. I'm wondering, is that the show that he was trying to do? Because he's got so many shows regarding singers and groups and stuff in development. I know he's got another show that he's doing with Mel B. I wonder, is that what's that show, or is this something different? Where it's like you're putting together a boy band, you're trying to do the whole thing in, what was it? It was Where the hell was it? I think it was in the UK. It was doing auditions, and they were talking about there was a low turnout. I wonder if that's the show, or did they scrap that into something else? The industry is tough. Agree. You must be ready to deal with the Simon Cowells of the world, like Susan Boyle starting in Britain's Got Talent. Her story is inspirational. Nobody believed in her. Exactly. She went on a TV show, and they heard that voice, and they managed to make her a star. I mean, did she have a career like Adele? Well, I don't know what happened with Susan Boyle because we don't really hear from her. I mean, yeah, she definitely looks like Miss Doubtfire with the voice of Adele. And that's probably why nobody believed in her, because they felt like they couldn't market her. You're literally looking at Lawrence Chaney with an operatic voice, or the voice of an angel. So, what are you gonna do with that? Oh, it was LaToya London. Thank you. So I was like, remember it was the three of them that was, I was like, oh no, what is going on? How we got Fantasia, Screamifer, and LaToya London all up for elimination. The hell didn't vote enough for them. And I remember the biggest controversy from American Idol was when everybody was surprised that Sanjaya made it as far as he did during his season. But I know Simon has a soft spot for Adam Lambert. Well, he is in a class by himself, and he's immensely talented, Adam Lambert. It's unfortunate because he's a homosexual. His career isn't as big as it needs to be, but he's got a good enough career, especially touring with Queen and doing his own thing on the side. You know, his solo stuff. He needs to continue to do more dance music, in my opinion. All right, y'all. So now, before we get, I forgot to do the final four because I jumped into the Simon Cowell situation, but we got 3 more topics. So before we get to our final 3, if you have not already, please do me a solid and hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, and also be sure to smash the notification bell so that way you know when we go live with a brand new episode of Chris Avalon Unfiltered. Please and thank you. Now, without further ado, let's talk about SJP, aka Sarah Jessica Parker, aka Carrie Bradshaw, because that's what she's most famous for playing. It seems like, if you believe the reports, she can't seem to leave the whole Sex in the City universe alone, because according to Rob Shooter over on his Substack, she wants another go at Sex in the City, this time in cinematic form. So because she doesn't know how to leave well enough alone, and because she's become very, very rich from playing Carrie Bradshaw over the course of 6 Sex in the City seasons, 3 and Just Like That seasons, and 2 movies, and a Partridge in a Pear Tree, Sarah Jessica Parker is still keeping the dream of a 3rd Sex in the City movie alive. Now, SJP may want you to believe that, and Just Like That, ... put the final nail in the coffin that is Sex in the City. But word on the street is that she's quietly doing the opposite, lobbying behind the scenes for one final Carrie Bradshaw comeback. She just can't walk away, a Hollywood insider insists. SJP's been meeting privately with producers, pitching the idea of a last hurrah, one big movie to properly finish what And Just Like That didn't. But not everyone's buying it. Studios are hesitant after the abysmal ratings in reaction to the reboot's final season. There's franchise fatigue, one executive admits, and the truth is Sarah doesn't have another major hit waiting in the wings. Sex in the City is her identity. Without Carrie, what does she have? Now, as for Parker, the franchise has been a lifeline since 2004, a brand, a persona, a global crown jewel. Those close to her say that she's scared that ending Carrie means ending her own relevance in the cultural zeitgeist. Saying, quote, Carrie made her a superstar. She's terrified that without that character, she just fades. If this movie gets greenlit, it won't be just for the fans. It'll be SJP's final attempt to keep Carrie and herself immortal. Now, look, if Kim Cattrall is like, after all the things that was happening, and you couldn't even get her to come back for And Just Like That, except for a cameo where she had to be shot separate from all the other cast in a car on a phone call, and that was her scene, and she was in sidebar. This kind of makes me think, like, what's going on over there? Because how was it that Kim Cattrall was able to get Pat Field to come back and do her overall wardrobe, but Pat Field couldn't even come back to And Just Like That to help with the wardrobe? And everybody's been talking about how horrible a lot of the wardrobe has been, particularly for Carrie on And Just Like That. I like Sex and the City. I told you I was watching it the other day. Yes, that is SJP's identity. That is like her most iconic and most famous role. But I just feel like with the whole Sex and the City thing, it was good for what it was at the time that it came out. I just don't feel like, and you tried it already, when it came to And Just Like That, it just, you couldn't make a show like that work in today's climate, because what you were doing was, instead of trying to tell a story about how women of a certain age are navigating through the trials and tribulations of living in the upper echelon parts of New York City, and how you're navigating in this world that has changed via social media, via you being older women and trying to compete with younger women in the same world in which you were once a part of in the 90s and the 2000s. Instead of you playing within that and then the relationship stuff, instead of y'all focusing on that, instead of focusing on all this other stupid stuff, which kind of took us out of the show. And it's like, are we watching the same show? Because what is Michael Patrick King doing with these ladies? Like, this is not, y'all not giving me what it was that we liked about these flawed characters during the Sex and the City era. Now you're bringing these people in and y'all trying to just walk on eggshells. You're not allowing them to just be unapologetically walking around with rose-colored glasses on. That's kind of like what it was with a lot of these girls. Let Charlotte be the uptight pain in the ass that she's always been. Miranda definitely being the lawyer control freak. She started being like this weak dilly-daddler with Che and all. I'm like, what? Because she a lesbian, she eat pussy in real life, we gotta now incorporate that in the show? I mean, I understand if, because there are late in life homosexuals that come out, or people that get involved in relationships with someone of the opposite gender, and then later on in life they come out as queer. That exists, and you could have played that up. But then you had her becoming like this big doofus next to the most annoying characters in the history of the show. And there's been many annoying people that have popped up on Sex and the City, but not as bad as Che. So I feel like at this point, because y'all didn't know what y'all was doing in regards to this show, you didn't know what kind of story y'all wanted to tell. It was just annoying, and I just weren't really feeling a lot of the characters on there. The only ones that really had like a interesting storyline was Charlotte with her kids and that sort of situation. That I was like, okay. Charlotte had the interesting storyline. I hated what y'all was doing, Miranda, and Carrie was getting on my damn nerves. So, and then it felt like y'all were trying to shoehorn in these diverse cast members because there was bitching and complaining about the lack of diversity on the show back in when it was in its heyday. Which I'm like, even if you don't want to have black people on your show, whatever the case, if you want to tell a story about a bunch of, uppity white women on the Upper East Side or the Upper West Side, the Upper North Side, or the Upper South, there's no such thing as Upper North or Upper South, but you know what I'm saying. If you want to have them in these upper areas, these areas of the Upper East Side, Upper West Side, whatever, Midtown Manhattan, if you want to tell those stories, that's great. But what I didn't like with the fact was, yeah, you're doing a show in New York and you're not showing that there's a melting pot of different people that they could just be encountering just in different scenes. You're making it seem like New York City is white. If you ever come to New York, you see is a melting pot of very diverse group of people. That's why when Ice tried it the other day, coming up in here thinking that y'all was going to treat New York City like y'all was Chicago and all them other places that y'all was, trying to start your mess in, there was a lot of pushback from protesters where they was getting into physical altercations with Ice. I was like, nah, what y'all doing over there, you ain't bringing that up in here, especially the way how culturally diverse New York City is. So that was just one of my complaints. Other than that, tell your story how you need to tell it. But New York is very diverse. And for you not showing that, because typical Hollywood and how they think, you want to act like you're liberal, but you're much more conservative than you let on. And that was just my overall situation. So if this story is to be true, if we're led to believe this story as truth from Rob Shooter's Substack, I don't think we need another Sex and the City thing. We don't need a wrap up of the movie, because the way y'all was running, and this is how I knew they was lying, because they was like, oh no, this was we meant to wrap it up this season. Now this story coming out that she want to do one last hurrah in the form of a movie. And it's like, but y'all said this was how y'all was wrapping it up, which I know it goes to show like, no, this wasn't the plan. Y'all had probably another season up in you. But they were saying because how bad the season was and how horrible the ratings was, now they want to sit up here and say, oh no, we canceling the show, that we're losing too much money. And nobody cares. Clearly, nobody cares about Sex and the City. And you've seen there was a lot of people that was on social media. The overall consensus was people was shading the show. They were hate watching the show. And it was a lot more negative than positive stuff that was coming out about it. So I'd rather just live with the memory of, if I want to relive the rehash or relive the era of Sex and the City and how New York looked before it just went through its drastic changes, I just watched the old shows over on HBO Max, because that's when you can watch it. And just like that, it was like after half of season 2, I never went back, because I'm just like, these seasons are getting worse and worse. And then I started hearing the stories about season 3. I was like, well, damn, now I don't even really need to feel that I need to invest in this show if it's that bad. So I say all this to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you believe that the story regarding the fact that, yes, as JP wants one last hurrah as Carrie Bradshaw? I mean, I wouldn't put nothing past her. First of all, I heard that she's got a documentary coming about Ukrainian ballet dancers or something that was just picked up. So she's busy with that. Maybe I guess she could do documentaries or produce other projects or try to find another project to be a part of. But I do definitely think that it's time to hang up Carrie Bradshaw's Manolo Blahniks for good. So let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So now let's see what the peoples are saying in the comments. Don't we all? Exactly. And that's always been the overall consensus. If Samantha ain't in it, we don't want it. And that's one of the reasons why I really didn't invest in Just Like That, because I'm like, no, Samantha, oh, well, bye. I related most with that character. Simon does seem nicer than he did 10 years ago. I've seen him get emotional during auditions on America. Yeah, I've seen that too. That's why I say he's not, it's because he's matured. And when you have kids, it definitely matures you, unless you're a damn sociopath. Now that I have Netflix, I really want to watch Sex and the City. I just started season 4 of Gilmore Girls, and I do want to watch one episode of Supernatural. It's about to leave, and I'm on season 9, so I need to finish that season, and then I'm gonna wait until, because it's going to Prime Video and Peacock. So if you have those, I'm good. But I think I'm gonna watch it on Prime, because Prime, I don't have ads. I have ads on Peacock. I'm still debating whether or not I want to bump it up to premium, but so far Peacock don't have enough stuff on there for me to want to even do that. I'm gonna wait until the Taylor Sheridan deal goes through, and then maybe years from now I'll upgrade. But for now, I'm willing to stick with the ads. But Prime Video, because I started, for some reason, I was watching, like, they got all the seasons of Grimm up there. They got a lot of really good old shows. Bionic Woman, $6 Million Man. They got a lot of old shows and stuff on Prime Video. So I've been watching those. Like, whenever I get in the mood, I've been spending a lot more time watching Amazon Prime Video than anything. And Sex and the City, I totally forgot it was on Netflix. I'm watching it on HBO Max. So I guess once you finish with Gilmore Girls, you can go over there and watch Sex and the City until, but from what I heard, like all the other CW shows, because they move in Supernatural to Prime, but they don't know what's going to happen with shows like Arrow and all those, and The Flash, they're about to lose all of those. So who knows what's going to happen with those. But yeah, I was like, I'll just catch up on the rest of the seasons over on Prime Video. That's fine. I don't know, it was just something about the Netflix of it all with Supernatural that I wasn't particularly caring for. I also want to watch another TV show set in the 2000s, Manhattan, starring a woman you don't like. Can you guess what TV show I'm talking about? There was a show that was in the 2000s. Well, I hope it's not Girls, is it? But no, that took place in Brooklyn. Is it Friends? Because I was gonna say, I don't mind it. I like all the girls on Friends. I love Courtney Cox and Jennifer Aniston and them, so I don't think it's that show. Oh wait, you better not say Will and Grace. Is it Will and Grace? Probably is, because I don't like Deborah Messy. I feel SJP. Well, just fast forward through all the parts with her. I feel SJP and most of the cast were jealous of Pat because she made Samantha a fan favorite, and she honestly, the season, half of us watched the show. Not her fault. She's that girl. But you said they was jealous of Pat because she got what, that you felt that Kim Control got the best outfits. Oh, you talking about Kim? It's my because she made some. I mean, look, we like a little slut or somebody who just. Well, I don't think she was a slut. I just think that she was just unapologetically herself. She went after what she wanted, whether it was business or a man. I honestly blame S to ATC for one of the seasons of non-New Yorkers moving on. Wait, what was that? Oh, I know what you're saying. You're talking about that you blame Sex and the City for a lot of people moving. Are you talking about people moving to New York because of Sex and the City? Because they believe the illusion of that show. It's like, oh yeah, Sex and the City inspired me to move to New York. I remember one of my roommates, he was telling me, well, he said the reason why he moved to New York was because of Madonna. When she did I Love New York, that was why, and during the Confessions era, he loved that album. That's when he first fell in love with Madonna. And he was like, ever since he heard that song, that's what made him move to New York. I said, well, look, I love the fact that the Queen of Pop made somebody actually pack their bags and leave. I forget where he's from. I think it's from Illinois or something or another. But anyway, it said, I have Prime Video, so maybe I can watch Jared Padalecki fight ghosts. Yeah, it is 15. 15 seasons, but 22, sometimes 23 episodes. So it is a lot. Which is the thing I hate about. That's why it's taking me so long to get through all the episodes of Supernatural, because it's like, damn, it's so many episodes. But I get it. It was syndication, all that other stuff. Prime Video has ads now, and if you want to get rid of them, you have to pay extra. Well, no, look, they play ads in the stuff that I pay for, and I just hit, on my thing, I have hit skip, and it skips it. So, because I'm paying the whole premium thing, I don't have that issue. Because I pay for Prime Video, and I got MGM Plus. Oh, you said Gossip? Oh, Gossip Girl. You talking about Blake, Ku Klux Khaleesi. If I'm being honest, I'm drawn to New York because Manhattan and Brooklyn feel like a dream for a creative, and I want to live my Blair Waldorf and Carrie Braxton. Well, look, Manhattan, it was, definitely Manhattan does sell a fantasy. And I understand why people come in. It's too damn expensive. But if anything, you want that sense of like culture, I say go to Brooklyn. There's a lot of, especially queer culture. You get a much better sense of queer culture in Brooklyn. The clubs are way better. The bars are way better. That's why I like being in Brooklyn versus Manhattan. I had my taste of Manhattan when I lived in Harlem, but I prefer Brooklyn. And plus the trade is way better out there too. They said, isn't she also a Santa? Yeah, she was in Hocus Pocus, one of my favorite movies growing up. Bet wants to do one more Hocus Pocus while she can, but I guess Carrie doesn't care about what made her a gay icon. I mean, look, she should know she a gay icon. She besties with one of the messiest homosexuals in the industry, Andy Cohen. Astrocartography also tells me I have a Mars MC aspect going on. We say Mars Mariah Carey aspect going straight through Long Island, which is close enough. Yeah, I live close to Long Island. Mm-hmm. I heard Christian Harloff lives close to Long Island, so it's like everybody moving out to Long Island. All right, y'all. So now, let's get into some Drag Race news. Because the cast of season 18 has officially been revealed, which I think is pretty awesome. So I did tell y'all that I had heard before they even revealed Meet the Queens earlier today around 12 o'clock p.m., that the red carpet premiere, blue carpet, whatever carpet they're going to use, I don't know what color, because they change the color depending on the year, that a week from today, actually, December 9th, is when they're going to be doing the New York City press premiere, all that other stuff. So with that being said, I was like, yeah, they need to reveal who the queens are going to be this week. And of course, like clockwork, because, yesterday was World AIDS Day, so I guess they want to let that breathe a little bit. Now we have an idea of who some of these queens are. So, of course, Entertainment Weekly had the exclusive. Let's just use their article for reference. So, fruitier, juicier, and starrier than ever, RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18 features a sickening lineup of 14 new queens who are ready to compete for the grand prize of $200,000, an official makeup collaboration with Anastasia Beverly Hills Cosmetics, and the title of America's Next Drag Superstar, with the premiere date ready set for Friday, January 2nd at 8 p.m. on MTV. So yes, while MTV done got rid of all their music stuff, the channel still exists. Thank the Lord. Because we need a place for RuPaul's Drag Race to air. It would have been nice if if you were smart over there, David Ellis, instead of worrying about some damn Warner Brothers Discovery. Why haven't y'all put RuPaul's Drag Race on Paramount Plus? So for those who don't have a way of watching it, because a lot of people don't have cable, I have to use Philo in order to watch it. So if y'all would have just actually used Paramount Plus to your advantage, like after the episode airs on whatever thing, you could upload it to the channel the next day, like how they do with all the other shows. So they said, given the diversity of talent and temperament among the ladies this year, there's no one word to phrase that best describes the RuPaul's Drag Race Season 18 cast. But new queen Briar Blush, who hails from drag mecca of Boston, which previously birthed Jujubee, Katya, Plain Jane, and Corey King, is going to try. Essentially, as she tells EW with a devilish laugh, it's 13 other girls I don't give a fuck about. Oh, they better bring the best this season. Now, that's an indication of the drama that lies ahead. We'll certainly take it. While they defy something as expected as classification, together the 14 queens make up the Drag Race Season 18 cast, the first all-new batch of contestants to hit the main stage in nearly a year, with new 90-minute episodes debuting Friday, January 2nd, and they're out for blood this time. As Indianapolis-based activist and special effects artist, she's worked with Marvel, by the way, Sierra Mist, explains to Entertainment Weekly in an exclusive round of video interviews dropping Friday on EW.com and EW's YouTube channel. It's fitting, as others on the cast tell EW, because season 18 harkens back to the DNA that RuPaul and World of Wonder built Drag Race on back in 2009. And so with them talking about that, they're taking it back to basics of what we loved about Drag Race from the beginning. I was like, oh, count me in, because one of the things, I really wish I would have brought up that TikTok of the drag queen. I was like, no, we want queens who have been doing this for a long time. We don't want a lot of these girls that started developing themselves on TikTok, or y'all are social media queens who've been doing drag in your house or whatever the case is, that you really are seasoned, that you've been out here pounding the pavement and doing the local bars and really trying to season yourself so that way when you get on this show that you already are sure of yourself. And based on the article that I did read it earlier, it seems like they're doing just that. So he wanted to say, I love this season. I think it's kind of back to basics. It feels like a traditional season. You'll see what happens, explains Mickey Meeks. The Orlando-based entertainer's words hold weight, as she's closely related to Drag Race excellence through her drag aunt, Roxy Andrews. She said, it's a season full of queens who've been doing this. We all wanted this. We've been working and we all hold our own. We're not all figuring ourselves out on the show, which is fun to watch, but it feels like, oh, this is for real. This is a pageant. Well, yes, it is the Olympics of drag. Queens this year came to the show with the stacked resumes longer than Lux Noir London's 40-inch hair. That is to be debated. Mia Starr not only danced on Rihanna's Loud Tour for Britney Spears in Las Vegas, Jennifer Lopez at the Super Bowl, and in Camila Cabori's Havana music video. She also competed on The Voice and America's Best Dance Crew. Now, I did hear about Juicy Love Dion. I knew she was going to be on the show. Drag granddaughter of fellow season 8 competitor Athena Dion, both are also related to Ru Girls Morphine and Plain Jane, groomed on national TV among the So You Think You Could Dance cast, while Athena regularly parties with The View co-hosts Anna Navarro and Sunny Hostin at Miami's Our House, which even led to a guest appearance on the talk show in 2024. Now, outside of other talents, Kenya Pleaser is a impersonator who aims to be like the Derek Barry of Lizzo-isms and drag family relations. Seattle's Jane Don't calls All Stars 10 queens Bosco and Irene the Alien her hot, mean older sisters. There's one great unifier among this electric group of gals. Bring back my gals. There's also so many people who need this vaccine. Philadelphia queen and registered nurse Mandy Mango says when EW asked who among the season 18 cast she could legally administer the drag delusion vaccine to. Luckily, it is free and I do know how to give it. Now, in other words of Mama Ru, we can't wait to see how this turns out. Remember how she be saying that? Now, RuPaul's Drag Race season 18, as they said before, premieres on Friday, January 2nd at 8 p.m. on MTV, with the queens participating in a Reclaim, Renew, Rejoice fashion challenge using leftover treasures from Ru Girls of seasons past. Now, they also said that we do have a bunch of the queens, so I don't want to give y'all an overall look of that. Give me 1 second as I pull that up. So we can get into these pictures. So yeah, here's the wait, hold on. I was like, why is it not showing? So yeah, there you see the promo pic of Mama Ru. I don't know if I like this look though. I don't know, something about the shininess of the background. I'm not liking this look though. The RuPaul's Drag Race, the gown, everything, it looks cool, but I'm not liking that background. But it looks like, I don't know, I don't like the colors. But if y'all like it, I love it. So yeah, now we have Athena Dion, Briar Blush. I like these names though. Sierra Mist. Now you know I love a pun. Darlene Mitchell, a little random. Didi Fuego. Discord Adams, that child. Let's get into Discord, because remember there was a story that went around allegedly that she was disqualified. Didn't they say there was some type of fight that went on the show? I need y'all to find out what the tea was regarding that. But I remember hearing stories about Discord, and things ain't gonna be working pretty well for her on the show. But we'll definitely sit and I'm just looking forward to seeing like what went down, if all of the stuff that the rumors that were swirling around actually ends up in the show. So Jane Don't, I love that name. It's like Jane Don't. Juicy Love Dion. Then we have Kenya Pleaser. Oh, I love that name. So, I told you I love a punt. Mandy Mango. That's a cute name. Mia Star. Is she related to Sam? Mickey Meeks and Trinity Tuck. Nene Coco. Vita Von Teese Star. Okay, that's a cute name too, because Dita Von Teese. And so yeah, that's the cast. And that's what we have so far. So yeah, shout out to y'all. I mean, if you want to get into the behind the scenes tea regarding like who all these girls from, where they, who these girls are, where they're from, and what their names are from, and their Instagrams and all the other stuff, I should have created I think I'm gonna start doing that in the future so that I can link y'all to my website and do like a little barcode or whatever. You can scan it on your phones. But yeah, head over to chrisavalon.com so that way you can get all the information regarding the girls and all that good stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to this upcoming season of Drag Race. I hope it's going to be thoroughly entertaining. And we'll be doing like this year, like we did last year, which is I'll be recapping the show after the episode airs. So we'll probably be doing that, if my schedule precedes me, it'll probably be a Monday when we sit and do the whole, Drag Race recap, or as they would say, Ru-cap, because Ru loves a pun like I do. So yeah, are you excited for the new season of Drag Race? Are you looking forward to this upcoming season of Drag Race? I just hope that it's a real juicy, good competition. I just hope it's going to be fun. I just hope that RuPaul is present, because she be feeling like you just there to cash a check and you don't really be as invested as I be wanting you to. So I just hope that this season is going to be much better than all the previous seasons, since y'all talking about that, y'all taking it back to the basics of what we loved about the earlier seasons of the show. Because I feel like that's been relatively missing from Drag Race as a whole, that it's not giving me what I used to love about the earlier seasons. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of this story in the comments down below. Everyone's like, not you say, well, yeah, you are still young. You have time. You're in your early 20s. You definitely got time. Kim was unapologetic in love with sex. Unapologetically, I think that in love with sex. And new relationships aren't real. One guy she felt hard for, but it was because he understood her. Oh, yeah, you're talking about James Remar when she got with him. And then he finally decided to commit to her after they tried to bring in a third. The what do they call that? I'm like stewardess. No, she wasn't a stewardess. She worked in the front of the restaurant when you make the reservations. She was one of those type of girls. And then the minute she called him daddy, he was like, get rid of her. That episode was actually quite funny. I just watched the episode like 2 days ago. Athena Dion is a Miami legend. Hopefully she'll bring it like Morphine did. I've seen her perform, but never got to meet her. That's what they do with South Park. They add the episode the next day. That's what I said. That's what they could do with RuPaul's regular. I don't know why they haven't brought that show on. It's very popular. So I don't understand why they keep dropping the ball with that show. For season 15, they had queens that were doing drag for 2 years with one viral TikTok on the cast, and they were all early outs. That's why I said I need seasoned queens on these shows, people who truly love drag, and it's not just like, oh, we gotta tap into the young market. There's those of us who I've been a huge drag consumer and lover of the art since long before Drag Race was even a creation. That's how I became friends with so many iconic drag queens like Lady Bunny and Harmonica Sunbeam and so many others, because it was like I admired what they did and they were really up there giving you the full glam and all that other stuff, because New York drag is on a whole nother level regarding of how these girls out here perform. The showgirls, the club kids, like it's a melting pot. Why Tamar had her lawyer send Funky a letter and now Funky is spilling all her don't tell me he's still going in. Well, I'll be watching that after the end of the show. But I'm like, God damn. I was like, Funky, I ain't scared of that bitch. What lawyer? You using the same lawyer that sent your ass a cease and desist? That you went in on the family? Is that the same lawyer you got on the phone to send Funky a letter? Inquiring minds want to know. I like this RuPaul promo pic more than the one from this year where it was a headshot with a the promo pic from All Stars 10 wasn't that pretty either. Well, I definitely have to call up my Drag Race connoisseur, the one that I'll be going with to the premieres where he he does all the red carpet photography and all other stuff, and see what he thinks of the promos. Because yeah, he is highly critical of it. Well, she made the promo Discord Adams. Glad you bring Discord Adams, because Jane Don't was on Mistress Isabel Brooks' YouTube channel today and mentioned Discord's disqualification. Oh, so that's why I said that Discord was disqualified. So I'm glad she confirmed it. Well, look, and I was like, I hope they show it, because, and I remember I asked my friend, and he was like, oh, I didn't hear nothing about that. I was like, yeah, there was a notorious story that was going around that Discord Adams was disqualified, apparently because she got physical with another girl on the show, allegedly. So, probably have to watch that video with Mistress. I would definitely watch it, just so that way I can have that information. And who knows, I might have to bring that up tomorrow. I'm glad you're recapping the show, because I'm probably not going to go out of my way to find a way to watch it without cable, or maybe I will and I'll give Drag Race one more chance. Yeah, that's why I said I'll probably be doing what I did last season, and I'll just be recapping the show, because, you know, as a fan of the show, I'll definitely do it. I wanted to do that with Dragula Titans, but I just felt like that show is so caught on corporate. It's too much with the drama, especially with Dahlia being messy and spreading a lot of rumors of it, and they went in on her and that on the what they call it, their version of the reunion, to the point that she was like, I said what I want, I said what I said, and people didn't want to listen to what I had to say, so I'm gonna cut out early. And the Boulets was like, we're not gonna hold you hostage if that's what you want to do. Be my guest. That's how a lot of the girls on Top Model said Tyra was, because she wasn't as involved in the later seasons. And that's why I said, if I've got a show that I'm making a lot of money from, if I was doing a drag race type show, trust and believe, we're going to make it exciting. And even if I get bored and I'm like, okay, the show is not giving me what I need, we need to come up with I need to sit my team down. We're going to sit in this room. We're going to brainstorm some ideas. But like, okay, we got to make this show exciting, because it's going to show on my face if I'm hosting. Like, I need to really be excited to be here. I can't fake that I'm excited to be here. Discord Adams seems pretty cool. She listens to the Dead Kennedys. Isn't she also a guitarist? They said the first song she performed in drag was Teeth by Gaga. She doesn't know Gen Z slang. That's why I said, like, based off of when I was reading her bio on the channel, I mean, when I was reading her bio earlier, when I was putting it together, she seems like she would be a pretty cool girl that I would love to see go all the way to the end, like Acid Betty or something. Like, I love that type of drag. I like the alternative girls. So, and that whole, even though, you know, I like Sharon Needles too, before we found out she was a racist. But yeah, there's that. All right, y'all. So now let's get to our final topic. And speaking of the Boulets, let's talk about them. So I think we have one more week until the finale of Dragula Titans, where we're going to find out who's going to win the show. Is it Eva Destruction? Is it, who they just add Jaharia, because she won the lip sync against two other people. I'm glad Sigourney didn't get it, because I was standing there watching. I'm like, Sigourney, how you just standing there ripping petals and throwing it and thinking that's a performance? Like, I need you to move around the stage, but she ain't give that. So Jaharia came back, and she's the fourth that they just added. She's going to go up against JK. Who else is there? I forgot. Anyway. So she was the fourth that was added. But anyway, so with us about to find out next week who's going to be crowned the season 2. Oh, yeah. So I was like, how I forget? Is I forgot to add Abora too. So I love Abora. I'm thinking between all of them, it's going to be between, because I don't think JK is going to win. I don't think Jaharia is going to win. But if I had a choice, it's going to be either between Eva Destruction or Abora. She want Abora to win, because Abora's been on there so many damn times, and Abora's really, in so many ways, elevated their drag. However, I have a feeling that Eva Destruction is going to win, because Eva Destruction has had the strongest glow up out of all the people on the show. So I definitely feel like Abora's going to end up a runner-up, which is the furthest she's ever gotten on these all-stars type shows. So I'm actually looking forward to that. But it's not the end for the Boulets, because they have a holiday special coming out with David Dastmalchian. I like the fact that he collaborates with them on a lot of stuff, that he loves the queer community and he loves horror, and he's willing to collaborate with them on a lot of stuff. He's been on every season judging Dragula and all the spinoffs. So I like the fact that they're working. But after, I guess, we find out who wins the show next week, the following week, December 16th, they have a special coming out called Holiday of Horrors, and they have a trailer and everything. I can't show that here because I don't know how Shudder's algorithm is going to be, but they basically said it's going to feature 4 original shorts from the genre powerhouses Swan Thula and Dracmorta Boulet, Late Night with the Devil star David Dastmalchian, Malignant and Megan writer Akilah Cooper, and Haunting of Hill House and Midnight Mass actress Kate Siegel. So Gaudette is written and directed by the Boulets and stars Bonnie Aarons, Aaron Abrams, Brianna Venskis, and Eloisa Huggins. After inheriting their grandmother's old house, a family attempts to settle in on Christmas Eve, but as strange sounds echoes through the halls and tensions rise, an unseen presence forces them to face a chilling secret buried within the home. Yeti or Not is directed by Dastmalchian, and from a script he co-wrote with Leah Kilpatrick and Jennifer Polania. Dastmalchian plays the Yeti with Lauren Lovera, Jennifer Polania, and Leah Kilpatrick. The synopsis is 3 close friends embark on a wilderness search to find their missing sister and friend. What they discover in the snow-covered wild is something more terrifying and inhuman than they could have ever imagined. Then they have Old Acquaintance, which is written and directed by Cooper and stars Tracy Thomas, Tiffany Smith, Charles Murray, and Abora. Speaking of the devil. It's New Year's Eve and a woman returns home after her father's sudden death, only to find the demon that was hunting him is now after her. I wonder if Abora's playing the demon. Because he definitely knows how to do demon makeup. So if not, then I guess maybe he's playing just a regular schmegular person. Down the Chimney. Second, I think it's last but not least, I should say, Down the Chimney is written and directed by Siegel and features the voice of Dominic Cure, Theodora Flanagan, and Cody Flanagan, saying the worst kept scenario for good little boys and girls comes true. The project has been such a joy to build alongside our dear friend David and the remarkable team of filmmakers involved, said the Boulets. The anthology showcases 4 distinct visions of holiday horror, and creating our own short within it gave us the chance to finally reveal the kind of scripted genre storytelling that's close to our hearts. Moody, vicious, and hauntingly beautiful. We're thrilled for audiences to experience the entire collection, and especially the dark little nightmare we've contributed to it. There's something inherently haunting and haunted about the holiday season. Dickens knew it, added Gus Malkian, Charles Dickens, Scrooge, and all that other stuff. And now I get to team up with my favorite friend. He said favorite fiends, the Boulet brothers, and a host of talented creative creatures as we twist and terrorize the holiday season into something fun and fearsome. Move aside, It's a Wonderful Life. There's a new holiday tradition coming to town. So I like this whole idea because I'm like, the gays love horror. And I kind of feel like, the Boulets, y'all can I feel like y'all should take more of an Elvira approach to how y'all, because remember back in the day when Elvira used to do like the whole thing and she would introduce like little shorts or anthology episodes and that sort of thing. Like, she used to do it, Twilight Zone, Alfred Hitchcock Presents, like they had all kinds of, the Outer Limits. Like if you could do a show like that, but I would love to see like a queer-centered horror anthology series, like a series of shorts hosted by the Boulets, where we get a lot of those queer-centered stories. It don't all have to be queer-centered, but I would like to see a lot of those stories getting, getting opportunities, or us seeing those type of representations, because there are a lot of queer people who love horror films. We do invest a lot in the horror movie genre. There's been documentaries and everything that's been spilled on it. So I'll be looking forward to this show when it premieres time in was it like 2 weeks on Shudder. So yeah, so I say all that to say, what do you guys think of this story? Do you have Shudder? Are you gonna be checking this out? Are you a Boulet Brothers fan? Are you a queer person that loves horror? So whatever your thoughts are on that, I would definitely hear from you. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. All right, y'all. So let's see. All right, looks like we're done with today's show. I want to thank you all for tuning in to the latest messy episode of Chris Avalon Filter. Thank you, a lot of you, those of you who jumped in the comments, regarding which topic or whatever the case was. I'm glad that somebody whoever called it out. We didn't have any trolls in the comments or whatever. Thank God or whatever. But yeah, I'll be back on tomorrow with a brand new episode of the show. Hit that like button. Also smash that notification bell, hit the subscribe, all that good stuff. Helps with the algorithm. So thank you for everybody who constantly helps and supports this messy little show that could, because it is blowing up. And I'm happy about that. I love all the fact that you all sit and spend time with me as I spew all the stuff that I said. Because if I was here talking to myself, I look crazy. So love you all for watching. Thank you all for your continued support. And until next time, ciao, darlings.